Well, welcome everybody to Hash Church episode 14. I'm sorry that it took me so long. I was in the makeup chair trying to get these bags under my eyes to disappear. But in all essence, we don't really have a makeup chair here at Hash Church. What we do have is we've got hashish. So I just whipped off a little bit of the full melt 99% CBD Renee from the House of the Great Gardener. Always like to thank Matt over at the House of the Great Gardener for his wonderful, amazing work that he's doing over there. Big up yourself, Matt. And just, well, thanks everyone for joining us today on Hash Church. I've got a good one, I think. I'm not sure if we're going to have Mr. Clark come by again today. I have sent out the link to Jen Doe Hendricks, as well as Nick Tannum, aka Nicotee. And so those guys are both very well-known hash makers down in the US, so I thought it would be great to invite them up into Hash Church and just hear what they have to say. If we're going to be all about moving this thing forward, then we're going to have to let everyone play. So I'm always welcome to invite people who are really hash focused into Hash Church to talk, and obviously Jen and Nick both fit that bill. So I've sent them out the link. It is very early right now, so I'm not sure if they're going to be making it, right away. But yes. What do we got? We got people talking. We got John Daly saying the static tech is already starting to catch on. People filling their quivers. Major hash. I'm glad I didn't miss anything. Bob Marley, no worries. I had plenty of time to drop my morning deuce this time. Excellent, Bob. That's what I like to hear. Glad everyone's got time to drop their morning deuces. I would hate to start before morning deuces. Yes, so Mr. Delisi, how do I get you the link, my brother? How do I get you the link? A lot of people asking me how they get the link. I will tell you right off the bat. The link is reserved for people who want to come in and who have an inspirational story, or like Delisi, for instance, Rick's father, who was trapped in a conspiracy charge, I believe. What do we got? Oh, we got Horatio. Welcome, Horatio. Rick's father was caught in a conspiracy charge and was given 3 25 or 30-year charges, plus another one. I believe he's in there for 98 years. He's currently served 27 years. I hope that this hurts all of your souls as much as it hurts mine, because how can we put a man in prison for 27 years for cannabis? So I would urge you all to learn what you can about Rick Delisi and how we can go about freeing Mr. Delisi. 27 years is a long time. His family's grown up. His son's all grown up. Let's get those two together. Let's see what we can do. So I'm pretty sure they sell free Delisi pins, and I'm pretty sure there's a website that you can Google up. And yeah, that's something we should all definitely be picking up as things are getting more and more legal, as people are acquiring federal licenses in Canada and federal licenses in Uruguay, as Jamaica's awaiting a federal licensing or a federal amendment to their bills, as the Americas are grabbing enough states that soon they'll flip and it'll be a federal law throughout America. It's coming. It's coming, and it's a nice thing. This went from 3 people to over 104 minutes. Yeah, well, that's how we like to do it. That's how we like to do it. I want to get you the link, Rick. You just got to tell me on Facebook. You got to hit me up, brother. Ashwin. Welcome, Ashwin from Amsterdam. This is our Dutch connection.
Yo. How are you doing, bro?
Dutch connection. Very good, man. Try to figure out the speaker when you're talking. I shouldn't hear myself through your speakers. When you're talking, you shouldn't hear yourself through your speakers. I'd have to put out headphones. Or turn the speakers way down.
I know what to do.
Or turn the speakers way down. Excellent. So I've got Aaron from DNA has crashed out unconscious upstairs after Muto bubble rips. Also, when we're not talking, just mute your mic, and then check it out. Boom, Gonzola. And then when you want to speak, you unmute your mic, and I'll mute mine. So welcome both Horatio and Ashwin. I always think of Ashwin as Esby Urba. He's a good friend, works at the seed bank, the seed center in Amsterdam, working closely with Luke and we see him every year at the Cup. And he's a great dude. So welcome, Ashwin. I'm glad that you're in Hash Church with us, and definitely don't feel like you can't talk. You just unmute your mic. I'll mute mine up. You just unmute your mic. I'll mute mine up.
Thank you very much, Bubbleman. Amsterdam in the house.
Yes, welcome, Amsterdam. Yes, welcome, Amsterdam.
I'm gonna roll something. 1 sec.
Yes, I'm gonna mute you so I don't come through your mic again. But anytime you want to talk, just give it a talk. Oh my goodness. What do you recommend for anxiety? Anti-anxiety strains, you know, we all talked earlier in the chat. Well, that's a tough one, you know. I don't think there's particularly one strain over another. I think that often sativas produce anxiety in people. However, I've heard that people that have anxieties enjoy smoking sativas to knock them down a notch. Now, that's not a fact of anything. That's just my own personal opinion. Here we go, Mr. Delisi. We'll get Mr. Delisi into the chat. Apply there. So throughout this, I usually get quite a few messages. Oh, sweet. You reckon I throw the cannabis away? Wow, I'm not sure what he's talking about. Well, I've cleaned some nice new hash here. I guess it's probably great for us to start with a puff. What about you, Horatio? Are you puffing on hash during Hash Church, or are you mostly hitting the vapor of the glycerin and the nicotine mixture? I had someone recently ask me, they were like, I don't even think Horatio puffs. I think he's just hitting that glycerin stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I've puffed enough with Horatio to assure people that Horatio indeed does puff, and puff tough he does.
I do. It's just the puffs don't look like anything because I immediately hit some vape after. On your statement about the sativas and high anxiety people,
yeah,
it's like a complete reversal. They have an imbalance that's not stimulated, and typically you would figure, well, something fast would make you have anxiety, but anxiety people tend to freak out because things are going slow.
Yeah.
Like not being on coffee gives you anxiety, so that's how you can end up with that, where it actually starts to get the day going, and so the anxiety can go down because you're functioning.
And I guess what I should have been saying was the narrow leaf drug cultivars.
That's the new talk.
Hey, welcome, Rick. Where are you at today, buddy? You got a mic, I think. Can you hear me, Rick?
He doesn't have audio on.
Oh, he doesn't have audio. Weird. That's strange. Well, we'll get Rick figured out. And yes, this is for Ashwin. If you turn off the volume on the YouTube live session, you won't hear my voice come through your mic anymore. That's also what I thought. Although it did sound like a reverberation from your speaker to your mic, it's probably from that. It's probably from that. So I suggest we all load up a bowl here. Load up a bowl. See, that's John saying that people like indica with Medicushes. Now, I think they like both. I think that it's very likely that you will meet people. Yes, Most High Selassie I, Jah Rastafari, Prophet Marcus. Welcome, 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 Michael Boyack. Johnny B's holding down the chat over there. I think that, you know, if you've got anxiety, you want to find out what you like by not limiting yourself with, you know, with blinders. Just try, and the things that you don't like, you'll know. You push those off to the side. And the things that you do like, you will know as well. And this is one of the topics that I like to come up with as people gain information as to what a certain ailment would be good for. Oh, this is good for MS, this is good for migraine headaches, this is good for that. I think that that's a good thing to give those sort of basic sort of guidelines, but I think it's a potential danger when people hear it from a perspective of like, no, that's the one I have to have. I've been told that I have to have this one. Please, any of you that are using cannabis medicinally, don't be told what you need to use. Like, go out and look. House of the Great Gardener. I got some of that. House of the Great Gardener. I wish we had your mic working, buddy, but that's okay. There's a chat there. You can chat on the side there. There's a top left button. There's a blue little square, and that brings open a chat on the right side, and then we can still get your your opinion. Yes, peace, Prophet Marcus. Another Marcus in the house, spelling his name just like myself. I noticed while I was in Jamaica last time that my name, Marcus Gary, is literally a few letters off from Marcus Garvey. And one of my Jamaican friends was pretty stoked on that when he was like, "Damn, man, me thought your name was Marcus Garvey." I'm like, powerful name. For those of you that don't know about Marcus Garvey, Google him up. He was a bit of a prophet in Jamaica, and he was the one who prophesied the crowning of a black king of Ethiopia. And he prophesied that before it happened. Of course, as many prophets, they jailed Marcus Garvey. I've been by the jail in Kingston that they locked Marcus Garvey up in. And you would have to Google it for how long they locked him up. It definitely wasn't a Mandela or a Delisi for that matter, 27 to 28 years. I swear to God, every time we mention that, every time we think about that, we should all think of that as like a stain on our community. That's a major problem that I see a lot of people getting excited about legalization and federal licensing and corporate cannabis that's coming around the corner. We better not do any of that until we have people out of prison that are serving 10 and 20 and 30-year sentences. How about that? How about that? All right. I think I need to get a dabber. Oh, wait, here we go. I got one. Try and hit some of this freshly made CBD Renee, which I can't tell you guys how effing tasty this shit is. Rick's looking like he's hitting his. Nice. Oh, yeah. Darrin Massey, welcome, brother.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
You got your coffee, and I got my D-nail.
And I got my nail fired up and ready to go to first rip of the day.
No, but my nail is my coffee.
Oh, nice.
Many people will go for the morning juice or the morning coffee.
Can you hear me now?
God, I go right for the morning nail.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
I was saying, could you hear me?
I can hear everyone.
Yes, Rick, we now hear you. And
Yes.
we just heard Ashwin, and that's just wonderful. Now we've
Good
got
morning,
our
y'all.
represented.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, well, thanks for coming in and chatting with us. It's always, I think it's important each hash church that we mention. I mean, your dad's got himself in a situation where it's almost unmentionable. It's almost unmentionable. It's just so fucking terrible that it's like, oh, do you bring it up every time? Well, I do. I bring it up every time.
Well,
27 fucking years Rick's dad's been in prison
That's right.
for smuggling cannabis.
Holy fuck.
And it's a conspiracy charge. It was a reverse entrapment sting case.
Ouch.
It's like, anyways. The
Well, we
best
gotta
thing what
figure it out,
anybody
dude.
could do to just raise awareness is go to freedelisi.com and sign the petition. And, yeah, support the movement. That's the best I can do at this point.
All right, freedelisi.com is where
Oh,
we're
shit.
sending everyone.
I lost your sound now?
My sound? I'm here. I'm here. Can anyone else hear me?
On here.
Okay, just
I still hear you.
all right. So yes, we should go to freedelisi.com. The least you can do is you can sign that up. You can post freedelisi.com on your Facebook page or in your social medias. It's really the least that you guys can do. We're not asking you guys to send.
We're on Instagram also, Freedelisi, at Freedelisi.
Yep. Build those accounts. Go follow them on Instagram. Go follow them on all the social media platforms that you can find them on, because that is just fucking outrageous. Let's take a fucking big fat rip.
Big fat fucking rip.
Your old man, is he in Florida right now?
Yeah, in Florida, Belglade. So, yeah, he's actually doing all right. I spoke to him a lot over Christmas and the holidays. I was sick. I was bedridden. I got a flu for the first time on the holidays. I couldn't believe it. I was taking baby dabs. Anyways.
Dabs. Been there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's good. I'm glad that you managed to get into chat, even without True. We're always welcome True, of course, and Ramon from OCD Labs and True Cannabis Genetics. And yes, let's see what we got for people texting me to get into church.
I thought you were going to be holding church at the Whistler place.
We don't play the Whistler till tomorrow, so we've got a bit of a day planned today. I thought it was great. We'll be able to do next week's church. Next week's church we will do in Whistler. Oh yeah, Johnny B. Shit. I thought I sent that out to Johnny B. I'm just realizing now why he's not in chat. I almost missed the sound of my voice reverberating through his mic. There we go. Now I'll have some feedback. Alright, man, this CBD Renee hash is really, it's got such an incredible taste and flavor on it. I would call it, it's attuned to candy, this particular hash. No, Marcus, it is not snowing where I'm at, although the mountains are very white and covered in snow across the way. I'm down by the ocean, so mostly it snows up on top and not so much in the down lower. Just snows up on the mountains. Big inspiration, Jay Righteous. Thanks for the props. Just trying to do my part. Just trying to get everyone together for an early morning session. It starts with shooting the shit. It starts with hitting a few bowls, and generally at one point in time we break away from the bullshit and we end up in some actual fairly deep conversations. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the group of people that come in and the conversation that gets sparked. I was talking about it with Aaron yesterday. I find that when it's not even just hash church, it's just life in general. When we talk about what we know, I think I even said this recently on one of my YouTube videos.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Johnny. Where I said if everyone wants to offer advice, I think that it's good to offer advice that you have done personally, not advice that you have read about and researched on Google, because that's probably part of the internet problem that we get. We get people sharing information, and they're not actually sharing information that they do on a regular basis as much as, because now it's just a thing to share information. It's actually, you can become famous for sharing information if you can believe it. You can actually gain fame from just sharing information, which is a true sign at the fucked upness of the human experience, because we love to put each other up on those soapboxes, don't we? We do. I think that, make sure you guys are, yeah, there we go, thank you, Johnny B. Mute that mic when you're not chatting. Johnny B's got a brand new laptop computer with the most sensitive mic ever, so it's, when it's not muted, it comes through very loud. Spanish people, Loco 8C, visit your channel, Bubbleman. Of course Spanish people visit the channel. Spanish people are a big part of the channel. Catalonians and the Spanish, and come on, we're all about Spain. We'll be there in, well, a lot of us will be there in the cannabis community in March for the Spanibus. So if you guys have any plans on coming to Spain, how could you not, Rick? I mean, my God, we join every year for the Cannabis Cup. If you haven't realized at this point, Amsterdam's fucking miserable in November. It's not a good time to go to Amsterdam. Spain, however, is
Topless and tapas.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful, for real. Nice, perfect climate.
Yeah, I like it. I was talking to Aaron the other day. He said DNA's rented a huge fucking house and or apartment or something. So I think I'm going to just kind of get in on that action.
I can dig. I'll be out there for sure in the span of this time.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you. We'll do a free Delisi video because we didn't really do one last time. We should do a video, like an in-depth video for Bubbleman's World with photos and fucking the whole story and the news and the fucking boom. Put it out there, man. People just need to be like...
Do you remember the doping of the nation from Geraldo?
Oh, yeah, dude. That was in like the 80s or something, wasn't it?
That was my dad. My dad was in that. Dude. So I've been trying to get that tape like a motherfucker for years, but nobody can get a hand on it. It's like Geraldo has it himself, but he ain't going to talk to me, you know?
Yeah, I don't know Geraldo either. But hey, you never know. Someone in Hash Church that's watching right now may know Geraldo Riviera. And if you do,
Geraldo Rivera.
Sorry, because I heard he was a bit of a dick. But
I know, I heard too.
That video for us.
It was in that video right before he got busted.
Shit.
It'd be a good piece for the.
Absolutely. So Ashwin, why don't you tell our guests, our watchers, we have 175 people right now watching. I know all the time people are wondering about what's going on in Amsterdam. Why don't you give them a little lowdown? Some people think that, oh, the weed's all over in Amsterdam, that you can't have over a certain percentage of THC, and they're just... I don't really see that happening anytime soon, personally, but maybe you could give us...
The thing is, in Amsterdam, at the moment, there is no rule about the percentage. There were plans about getting a 15% rule in. That would mean that all the weed, all the hash with more than 15% THC would become hard drugs. The rule didn't pass yet, so it's there's no hard drugs yet. But yeah, the big thing why it was such a bad plan was because they didn't look at all the other things in cannabis like CBD, terpene, CBN, all the other cannabinoids, all the terpenes. They didn't mention that in their plans. It was just the focus on THC, and yeah, with 15%, they just took a number, and there was no base or no funding for that plan. So yeah, that was what they're planning. Maybe it's still going through. We're not sure. In February and March, there will be more news about what the rules will be here in Amsterdam.
Right. Well, that's interesting to see which way it's going, as the conservative government there seems to be wanting to move things backwards. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
It's a little backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards compared to what the rest of the world's doing right now, but at the same time, Amsterdam was blazing forward for so long that we can just never really forget them. They're
I think that's neighboring countries.
Dabbing in coffee shops now is a no-go. Like, most of the coffee shops won't be positive when you start to dab there, even if it's just isolator
or full milk.
Okay, well, here's one for you, Ashwin. Do you think that perhaps now Amsterdam might be the place to start THC activism? And because I think THC activism is going to be very necessary in the near future, we're going to have to go back up our boy THC, who's now been just kind of tossed into the bad. Welcome, Tony. Into the bad group. THC is the bad group. It's okay. Everyone. Now look at this. Here's another product someone brought me recently. CBD infused with turmeric CO2 extract. So this is what people are doing because they want to produce products that don't have THC in it, and they want to be able to make money right away and start shipping worldwide, so they try to create a product that has no THC. What we're talking about, Tony, is potentially starting the THC activism group, because it seems like someone needs to go to fucking bat for THC, especially in Holland, where Ashwin was just talking about the most ridiculous THC law that would have us, you know, that hashes and weeds couldn't be over 15% THC, which is how do you even do that? How do you make isolator that's 15%?
It's the weirdest. It's the weirdest rule ever.
Right?
That don't make no sense. You can't. put a percentage on something that comes from growth.
Well, I mean, I don't mind putting a percentage on it if you're telling me how much is in it, but certainly don't try to limit my options, because I believe THC is probably one of the most important cannabinoids that was all of our school. It was all of our hash school and college and university. We learned the majority of what the group of people in this room right here, the majority of what they know has been learned from the intake and smoking of cannabinoids, which has been deeply rich in THC.
THC helps me with my pain tremendously. I wouldn't be able to deal with it without it.
Yeah, I just think that someone needs to go to bat for THC, because
that's a good point. Fighting for THC.
Well, everyone's got the CBD. Hey, I got a new CBD product. Have you seen it? It's infused with this and infused with that, and we're just doing.
It's like THC becoming less important, less special.
Now this is hemp CBD from Romania. This is what these guys are doing. And right now there's tons and tons and tons of this stuff sitting around, and people have looked at it, and it's like, well, this is CBD. Now, I'm not saying that it's not CBD, but I'm really like, I don't know why. I guess I just have this attraction to the whole plant profile, the profile that's being grown specifically. It's why I like Tony's terpenes, because they come from the plants. He's not like, oh, I extracted these out of orange peels and chamomile petals, and now I'm reinstituting them back into resin.
Question about that, because terps like myrcene, you have that in mango, right? In the fruit mango, you have myrcene in there. So that same terpene is also found in cannabis. Like, it's also called myrcene. What makes the difference between that terpene in mango, that's called myrcene, and that terpene in weed, that's called myrcene? What's the difference?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, Tony.
All right. So let's back up, because there's a lot thrown out there just a minute ago, and basically, you know, a long time ago we separated CBD and THC. We did it a long time ago. Mashula and some people did it, and we've tried pure cannabinoids for ailments. We've tried to take pure CBD. If anyone's ever tried pure CBD or pure THC on their own without any of the other cannabinoids, it has literally almost one-dimensional or no effect, depending on what you're doing. And so the answer to that is the unknown. So from a scientist's perspective, the fact that we haven't mapped all 85 to 108 cannabinoids, all the terpene profiles, and simulated them in a mapping structure, meaning if you take myrcene and you take THC at this percentage and this terpene at this percentage and this and these other 84 cannabinoids at these small percentages, we don't know. And so therefore there's a lot of modulation that's happening between these cannabinoids and terpenes. And so when you just isolate a terpene or you isolate a cannabinoid, you're defeating the purpose of what would be the full spectrum approach. So what I'm trying to say here is let's take this for an example. You've got something that I'm drinking. This is a cold pressed pineapple and apple mint, and so this is a juice that's derived from apple, just whole apples, whole mint, and whole pineapple. Now, if you tried to take the terpene out of pineapple, the terpene out of apple, and the terpene out of mint that makes those flavors, and then you combine it with water, and you combine it with some carbohydrates, and you try to kind of duplicate this, you're going to miss the medicinal value of that drink that you're actually eating or actually drinking. Same with cannabis. So if you're just trying to isolate things and utilize them on their own, you have no idea what you're doing because you don't have the map. None of us do. Nobody's actually mapped it all yet. And so that's the next step, at least for me as well, is to map out the cannabinoids in conjunction with the terpenes, the flavonoids, and all of the other unknowns that we don't even know. So in the meantime, the best approach is to capture all of them. So I'm not doing a terpene isolation technique. I'm extracting all of the terpenes from that plant in one.
Yeah, like full.
I
turkey.
don't, I don't know.
Makes sense. Thanks for your answer.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a lot more terpene profiles. I was going through the Great Gardener's terpene profiles last night with Aaron from DNA Genetics, who's still sleeping upstairs. Hopefully he'll come downstairs for Hash Church soon. We destroyed him last night with the Flav brought over the angler buck Marcel fish, which is like this like $50,000 fish that looks like it will break if you just touch it. And Aaron's just like, dude, fuck off with that thing. I don't even put it in front of me. Like, I'm not doing that. Oh, fuck. And then he also brought this Scott Deppy Marcel air-trapped Raticello mothership fab egg. And then he also brought, the straight fab, fully worked Jake C. Scott Deppy piece, which is just Flav doing his thing in the, late at night when he brought that anglerfish over in a Tupperware tub, like a giant tub with a pillow on top of it.
I wouldn't smoke out of that pipe either, buddy. I wouldn't want to touch any of those pieces. They're too much.
Listen, that pipe is by far the most breakable pipe that you could smoke out of.
I wouldn't do it. Just
insane.
Wouldn't. I cover it.
Wake him up. Well, he's sleeping with his wife and kids, so if it was just him, I'd go in there and kick his ass. But he'll be down in a bit. We got 200 viewers. Hash Church has been on for a little bit less than an hour. We had good talks last week with Rob Clark, dressed like the Sith Lord. I thought that was cool with the black hoodie with just his white head. I went back and watched the video. It looked very fun. Rob had some great information. He was sharing with us his theories on wide leaf and narrow leaf indica cultivars, and that sativa is actually European hemp, sativa meaning useful, mentioned by, what was his name now, Leonis, or the gentleman who actually named sativa. So that was nice to have Rob in here and talking about all that information. I thought that was really cool. He's got a really wide, deep understanding of the historical and the geographical range of cannabis. I loved, even as he was talking about cannabis, it almost sounded as though he were talking of a people. We got the Pakistanis and the Indians, and we got the South Americans, we got the Colombians, and now don't forget the Afghanis. We love the Afghanis. I thought it was so great when he was just talking about all the cannabis strains. If you go back and watch that video, you can enjoy. He definitely laid a lot of knowledge. Yeah, Rob Clark was definitely at the Emerald Cup, only for one day, and he was doing it up. I got someone asking Tony, what is the genetics on that Jenny Kush? Jay Righteous says that he was up at River Rock recently and grabbed some, and it was spectacular. Carl Linnaeus, yeah.
It's Scott made that. It's RD1 Amnesia Haze and wait a minute, it's Amnesia Haze crossed with
I love that you can't remember, because every time someone says even the name amnesia, like there's amnesia in it, they can't remember what the strain is. It's like
Amnesia Haze. I want to say Amnesia.
I'll never forget sitting at Soma's table years ago with my friend Trichome Farmer. And we're hitting this it was the first time I'd hit a real vaporizer that was hitting huge cloudy rips, and Soma was just packing, monster amounts. And after hitting it, I was sitting with Trichome Farmer, and I'm like, dude, that was so good. Like, what was the name of that strain we were hitting at Soma's? And it took us about 10 minutes to realize it was the Amnesia 8. Kind of ridiculous. Oh! You are up, my friend.
I hear, but this is where you get the wake and bake session on.
Wakey bakey. Yeah, buddy.
What's up, Tony Terpene and the rest of the world out there?
Yeah, we got 212 people watching, and they're in this chat, and then we have our class.
What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, buddy. Nice to be in BC.
So that was Johnny B.
What up, G?
We got Rick, Delisi.
What's up, Rick
Delisi's
brothers?
in the
How are you?
house.
See, well, Rick don't have to wake up early to get to this session.
No, I know. Straight up. D420K, dry sift in general. Ashwin is in, but he's
What's
not
up,
in the
General?
Yo, yo, yo.
Morning.
My good buddy Horatio.
General got some kids. He's hiding in the garage.
General's got fucking like 28 grandkids and 17. No, like literally, he's got so many grandkids. I don't even know how many he has, but it's like, it's getting into the double digits soon. He's definitely a family man.
Plethora of grandkids.
Plethora, plus the whole garage is all sifting screens everywhere.
Do you have like a little what's that in your Derek? What's that in your garage? Is that like a portable fireplace?
Yeah, right here. Just gives me the nice ambient firelight if I want it.
Dude, how cold is it right now?
It's cold. It's nice in here right now, no problem. But we went through a blizzard yesterday. I snow blowed 3 fucking driveways. And it was all right. I like running that unit. It's a big machine. It's cold enough to have my heater blowing on me. Anyways.
You hear that? Aaron said he was so high last night it wasn't even funny, but we're laughing about it.
Yeah, I've been there, man.
Like,
right in that seat you're at, just messed right up, not even knowing if I should leave or go or what the fuck I should do.
I'll tell you, Flav brought over the Congo bubble hash, and I'll tell you this about the Congo.
Wow.
It's a fucking killer. I don't care what anyone says, the Congo is a fucking killer.
Dude, the 3 back-to-back.
Got some of that in bud right now.
Dude, my first one ruined me. You're lucky you waited till your second or third to be ruined.
No, my first one ruined me, but it was I took it easy on my second, and my third one
But you saw the first one I exhaled.
Yeah, that thing hit.
Holy shit, dude.
My brother.
Guy, I forget the guy's name, but we were over there smoking. We were doing a puff Wednesday on one of the road trips I was down on my motorbike. And one of those guys, we just come back from Shannon Falls, and we smoked, and that guy couldn't leave, man. We had to talk to. I talked to him.
That dude was partners. That was the new True Genetics guy. He gave me Ortega and a bunch of. He gave me an Ortega male actually, which was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, he puffed 1 puff and couldn't leave for 2 hours. It's true.
Oh, it was more than 2 hours. Fuck, it had to have been. I thought it was like 4 hours. The guy was just messed. He was just messed. Like I literally talked him down probably for about an hour, just off the lead sort of thing, right? Fuck.
Who cares? For real, Killa just said, so stoked to grow a kosher and Tangy crossed kosher. All right. Enjoy. Still waiting to try the Tangy. Oh, yeah. Tangy's like, it's just like, it's one of those strains that, there should be a list of strains, and the barb would also be on that list. And maybe right now it's not a very long list.
I got to interrupt here.
Yeah.
Has he had his bong ripped yet?
Yeah, I'm making it for him right now. But I'm talking about strains that have that unique terpene profile, the ones that make people's eyebrows go up every time.
Well, it's sort of like aromatherapy, you know?
It is aromatherapy.
You smell it, it does something, you put something on your face.
Right?
So earlier you were talking about the CBD oil, the CO2 infused oil.
Yeah.
Pure CBD. So it's been my experience in any kind of you want some of that? In any kind of pure CBD hemp derived, let's call it medicine. I have a problem kind of with it, swallowing it all the way, in the sense that I feel, and this is my theory, that hemp over the let's say millions of years, you've got your different male and female cultivars that evolved from hemp, and if you look at hemp variations versus today's sativa or indica indoor variations, and if we go off of what Rob Clark was saying, and you look at the plant and its history, I personally feel that it was used as what I call a pre-crop plant, And so if I went onto land, let's say in some area, say in the Midwest or someplace, and the soil itself, I planted my first crop, and the soil didn't promote a good crop of my fruits and vegetables and whatever else I was planting, then I would plant hemp first as a pre-crop to condition the soil, pull out all of the hazardous conditions in that soil. And you got to think back in nomadic travelers, like in polytheist times and nomadic civilization, where we weren't stable yet. And so as we were evolving and women kind of slowed down men from hunting and created agricultural operations for them, they basically used hemp in a pre-crop sense. So you plant all your hemp, you condition your soil, kind of like a large rototiller, if you will. You clean all your soil, you take all your stock, you take all your seed, you can make ropes, and you can make canvases, and you can make clothing and different things from that. So now your quote-unquote civilization in the area was able to live off of the land because now the soil's ready.
For sure.
And then so in that process, if you look at hemp, and this is what we really need to do, is you look at the raw, the heated, and the aged versions of hemp that are grown for industrial purposes, and do a terpene profile on that and a cannabinoid profile. I think you would find that there would be a lot fewer combinations. And so what I mean by that, if let's say we know there's 85 in cannabis sativa in the stuff that we're smoking with THC, hemp may have 3 or 4. And so we all jump to conclusions as a society and say, oh my God, it's CBD that's helping us, or it's THC that's helping us, or it's this one particular cannabinoid, when it's really a sequence that we just don't know yet. And it's these profiles. And so when these groups when you were talking earlier about taking, activism for THC, out of the 40,000 different articles that are out there that are published in the last 20 years, everything's done on THC active. And CBD is the next thing they've been studying, and that's CBD active. And so, like when we were first talking about the prana sublinguals, that like these, that's why I was so excited, because I felt like I was like, okay, here's a P1 through P4. The P1 is high in THC, high in terpenes, and that's THCA. The P2 is high in CBDA, low in THCA. The P3 is a 1-to-1, that's what this is, CBDA to THCA. All of that's inactive with the entire plant, with all of the terpene profile, with everything that plant can offer in a raw state. So it's not been heated and it's not been activated. And the P4 is a activated CBD to activated CBN. And so now you have P1 through P3 that are inactive, and then all I have to do is boil this in its glass in water for, say, 60 minutes, and now I have a fully activated P1 through P3. So in my sense, coming from a background in music, every single song is created by 12 chromatic notes. Those 12 chromatic notes are sequenced to make all of the music that we hear today in every form of music on the planet, from classical to hip-hop to rock and roll. So what what you're actually saying is, do we isolate this into CBD, or do we take THC out of the equation? That's like taking the A note out of the 12 chromatic notes. So the prana sequencing chart is me handing the guitar to a physician or a patient, saying, between these 4 notes and the other 3 that you can activate, you have seven sequencing notes that you can use on their own, or to sequence however they want, to make quote unquote whatever music you want. So to start isolating and taking things out of that would be like us being a raw foodist and then trying to isolate the medicinal properties out of raw broccoli. It's kind of, to me, it's going backwards instead of the whole plant, whole preservation of everything that we know until we study it in its full entirety. So I just wanted to expand on that, my thoughts on that.
Absolutely. I also agree about your whole plant terpene. I find when I take this CBD infusement that I don't know if it's just my cognitive dissonance, if I'm literally just like, I don't like the idea of the hemp CBD, but I truly didn't get the same sort of medicinal relief than when I was taking the prana drops. Now, I did get a little bit of a vibe from this, which I really kind of thought was the turmeric, because it has this incredible turmeric taste, and turmeric is an extremely medicinal, you know, it has medicinal compounds in it.
Is good.
Tony, did you ever get a hold of Jaden James?
Who?
I sent you a picture of the little boy and his card.
Oh, yeah. I plan on doing that like Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, because I know that he's been using like a high CBD oil, but I was talking to him about the prana because he was talking about high THCA. And,
yeah, so we've so everything I've done, I've been using the P2 for epilepsy. I've been using the P2, which is high in CBD-A, low in THC-A, and then for emergencies, like if a child has is having a seizure, the THC-A in its pure form seems to stop them within 30 seconds. Okay. So it depends, because there's five conditions of epilepsy as well. So some of them are triggered by little tumors. Some of them are triggered genetically with where doctors don't know. And then there's so that you've got 4 or 5 different stages of that. So sometimes a rescue drop P4 is better than a rescue drop P1. I'm going to hit him up. I'm going to get him up.
Tony never stops. He's just like, I'm going to eat breakfast, but I'm still going to be in hash church. I'm still going to... I was like, what the fuck is that?
My brother just made me a...
my brother trying to get into chat.
Look at this.
Yeah, my mom's making me a bunch of food, too.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you're making me hungry. Give me half an hour.
Mike, can you make me breakfast?
Yeah, I'll make you breakfast. You want pancakes? You want, like,
I'm all about pancakes.
hash browns?
It's like,
Tony! Making everyone hungry in hash church.
Did I just start meeting yesterday?
12 o'clock here. It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah, no shit, hey? In that sense, it's only 9 o'clock here. Wow, it's 3 hours difference from here and to Colorado?
I'm in Florida.
That's what I thought. So it must be 11 o'clock there.
Tony, you're not in Colorado, are you?
Oh, he's in Florida, that's right.
6 p.m. in Amsterdam.
What's up, Ashwin?
I'm good, are you?
Good, brother.
Good, Aaron. Considering the night you had.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, like, I'm going to pull down, like, $150,000 in glass in this Congo, and it just leveled me. I was like, I'm out of here, guys. I crawled into bed, pale white. Okay? Laid down to my kid and just had my kid take care of me.
Sleeping on my kid's bed.
Yeah, on his kid's bed. A king-size bed. His kid's like royalty.
So how's Bubbleman's new kid? Does he still stare at all the little photos?
I mean, the little guy is beautiful, bro.
He still comes and stares at the photos, absolutely. He's obsessed with these photos and we don't know why. Like when he's sad and crying.
It looks like a movie.
Yeah, it must be.
Guy on the yellow shirt.
It's boob-like.
Man, I'm on, what is this called? Bubbleman's World? Oh, hash.
One more thing I wanted to say. It looks like John was asking about this, the boiling points and stuff. So that's why I like to keep prana in its raw form and not boil it. But the difference in that new chart that I put out is that when we make these, I come up with these programs, we're pulling patients, and those patients' effectiveness at 85% percentile is how I'm kind of rating how things should be used. And so when you see, you know, you've got pool of, say, autistic children, and you've got, and you understand that an activated P2 produces 80 to 95% effectiveness, and a P2 inactive doesn't, you start to look deeper into that. And so I think that activated variations of THC and CBD, along with everything else that's in that bottle, is what's helping. So when we were talking about THC, to not have THC inactive or active is like not having pain release, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You're not going to get pain relief from CBD.
No, not at all. That's why you need the THC. And I just been looking at the different essential oils and like the myrcene and the liamine and the ones that are more anti-inflammatory effects. So I was just curious on the boiling points and the evaporation points, in which I was talking with Horatio about. Just seeing what is working for me because of what I'm doing with the time and pressure and stuff. So just some more information, and you talked about it, so I was just curious on that. Thank you.
Yeah, the P3. This one has the this one has that in there, the mystrine. So that's going to be a more that terpene's produced in an indica or like an OG or something like that. It's going to be produced and it's going to give you a more sedative feeling. Whereas the D-limonene or these citrus terps like the Tangy, you know, it's going to be the opposite effect of that particular terpene. So just like there's Tylenol daytime and there's Tylenol PM, that's the difference between those two terpenes. That's how it's the same Tylenol, but they just, you know, add.
They add a terpene.
Yep. By the way, thank you very much for this breakfast.
Dude, it's definitely not any longer, and it's powder. It's ridiculous, yeah. We're just we're laughing about the CBD Renee dry sift that I made this morning.
That's ridiculous. So how much CBD? What's the ratio of CBD in that dry sift?
I have zero idea. I actually asked Matt one time on camera why call it CBD. Like, really what I think's more special about it is the terpene profile. And I'm not sure exactly what the terpene profile is, although there might be, it might be over there. I heard that some of his strains, it's just a canatonic cross. So whether that picked up, you know, a high CBD in one strain, it certainly doesn't mean that it picked up a high CBD in another strain. Although, you know, I believe this one won highest CBD at the Cannabis Cup this year. So perhaps, yeah, that hash was probably made by me too, John. He was just holding his dry sift up.
That's why it's on your card, see?
Darrin had some.
He's going like this. He's like, I got one. I'm like, dude, I made you that.
What's from you? I know. That's why I was laughing. I got one of yours.
Red just came into the room. Welcome.
What's up, brother?
He's like, 1 second, I'm fucking dabbing.
Man, this guy, bro.
Yeah, I hit him up on text to find out that cross. That's how and then he was like, oh, you're on Hash Church.
He's
I was going to say, but Aaron, didn't you explain to me, like, when crossing a CBD strains, like what happens and your chances? Remember that day you were with Joe Fine?
If you take, let's just say, almost pure CBD variety and cross it into whatever, LA Confidential, cookies, anything, that F1 hybrid, the offspring that you get will be either a high CBD or not a high CBD, but if you rebreed that in to something else, you're going to lose your CBD. So it's the first generation that you're going to get your CBD out of, and anything past that, you're going to lose quite a bit.
Interesting.
So that's why it's hard to get where CBD seeds are at. Why don't you sell CBD seeds? And the answer to that is, if we did and we tried to package them, you'd have such a small percentage of those seeds having CBD that it'd be hard for you to actually promote and sell it, right?
Well, you would have to produce the F1 hybrid of those seeds, so you're going to have a 50% chance of having a high CBD variety, and then it's up to the grower or whoever's doing the selection to figure out which one's the high CBD, either through paperwork or just through traditional breeding. And not really breeding with it, just using it as your high CBD variety.
Well, it's how Godo Borodko, Godo Borodko is the head of the Institute of Bast Fibers in Russia.
Fucked up name, bro.
Yeah, he's an old school. This guy's got like the old school hemp cultivar collection, and it's in the Ukraine where we got our first hemp seed from Manitoba. And why the Ukrainians had the lowest THC on the planet, it was 0.01, and Canada only required, I think, 0.3, maybe.
Was it a lowlands hill?
It was the Zolotonosha, the 11, 13, and 15, which was very Kiev, Ukraine. So it was the one we planted in Chernobyl to do the phytoremediation program to remove radiation out of the soil. But that particular strain, I don't want to forget what I was about to say about it. I may have lost it. Zolotonosha. What was I going to say about Zolotonosha?
It was a 1.0.
Oh, the THC. And how easy. Okay, now imagine this, you guys. We're doing all this breeding on a certain level. Now imagine you have hectares, you have hundreds of thousands of plants that you've planted, and you've got away with a small little. He was using a litmus paper, and he was finding that purple color was high THC, and he was yanking those plants. And so basically, he yanked those plants for 25 years and ended up with 0.01 THC. Now, what would have happened had he just have kept those plants? Had those been the ones that he walked around keeping, how fast would you develop a high THC strain by a simple method like that?
Real fast.
Holy shit, dude!
But that being said, he kept on pulling out those things, and everything every male that was touching to that high CBD one was going. It was in-crossing it to stabilize it as a high CBD. So. Yeah, after generations of breeding, you're going to get to that high CBD. Generations of breeding, you're going to get to that high CBD, but like as a hobby breeder or most of all these hobby breeders, you're going to do an F1 and F2, F3. You're not going to dive into F7s, F8.
They don't have.
Sometimes you can do it at F3, F4, you know, but it's just a matter of.
Also, one thing you want to look at when we're talking about those little percentages, everything that GW has on patent files and the things that they're doing, you'll see a 98% CBD and a 2% something else. They won't tell you what's in the other 2%, and so there's they're not doing. Yeah, they're doing cannabinoids, terpenes. They're doing small percentages of everything else just to cover their ass, and then they modify their patents to try to cover all of the active variable ratios from 20:1 down to 1:1 for their gelomass project. They're in phase 3. So what they're actually doing is phase 3 in a petri dish. They're not even doing it. They haven't even got to see if it works in humans, which we know it will. But that method of trying to do a conversion in a gelomass in petri was debunked about 1.5 years ago. So they're going to get lucky anyway because they're going to start taking those ratios, activating them, and using them to see if it'll help with cancer. And of course, we all know they will find that it does.
Yes, that is the joy of having that advantage of imagine finding something new. Because this is like, for them, they're discovering cannabis. But in the meantime, it's like, no, for like, I don't know, how many years just have like reggae artists, like what was it, 40 years ago that Peter Tosh was singing good for asthma, you know, good for glaucoma. Like that's like 40 years ago, way before many studies, way before much of the information that's being passed as common knowledge today. Was being discussed.
I think you're smoking the brown weed, man.
Some degree in weed too, you know.
And that's a property of THC. So when we were talking about that, and especially activated THC, it's going to help with pain. It's going to help with tumor inhibiting cellular growth. I mean, there's a lot of things that, like, if you don't have that, in my opinion, it's like you're selling yourself short. You know, so just a full circle back from what that first point when I jumped in on. I'm pro THC.
I am as well.
I'm pro cannabis.
Straight up. Pro cannabis. Free the plant. Free the whole plant.
You know,
grow your own.
Grow your own. Yeah, whatever. I mean, what if we all find out we're just smoking hemp right now? And it's a lowlands hemp or a highlands hemp because, you know, like a lot of some of the like Pakistani varieties, I'll say, have CBD in them, but they're highland varieties, and most hemp is grown in the lowlands. So maybe some of the hemp pollen flew up the mountain, pollinated the Pakistani plants, and that's why we have the CBD in it. You know, or maybe that's just a high THC hemp variety. We'll soon find out with this genome mapping project that's going to happen. You know, it's going to be pretty interesting to find out like what we are actually
To turn the light on,
you know,
in
to
the
turn
dark
light on.
room.
I mean, maybe it's just a terpene, you know, because I know some hemp plants that have some incredible smells and terpenes.
Oh yeah,
you know, and
exotic.
maybe that's the key to unlocking the door is the terpene. You know, I mean, it's all about, you know, the future. The school's really starting now on this stuff. You know, GW started 20 years ago on something, but
they don't have the love.
Yeah, they did at one point.
They did.
They did at one point.
But they sold out their love. You know, they didn't treat their love properly. You got to cultivate love, your passion for the plant. It's very important, and it's one of the things I was even talking with Aaron the other day, and it was in regards to you, Tony, and how you're so, like, I wouldn't say righteous, but I would just say, like, I know that your mission is so, like, this way, and it's directed, like, you so don't have the thoughts of evil or, like, bad misdoings. So when you say something like, I saw someone the other day going, why does Tony have to patent everything? Why does he want to own everything? And I'm like, Tony's not patenting it to own it. He's patenting it so he can do it. That's why he's patenting it, so he can't be kept from doing it. There's two reasons to patent in this world. There's you patent because you know if you don't, you might not be able to do it. You might get this guy who patents for one reason and one reason only, to keep everyone else from fucking being able to do it. That guy patents for one reason and one reason alone. When you patent for that reason, that's when you get the people jumping on you. So I'm just saying that Tony is coming from the I just want to do something amazing and help a lot of people. He's not coming from the I'm going to patent everything so nobody can do it. It's more like protection.
I'm going to do that shit with Tony.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that, and I think a lot of people do misunderstand it. And most people don't understand how patents work. They become public once they're published and once they're granted. And so the idea here is if somebody wants to try to make something in their house, do you realize how ridiculous that would be for me to try to sue millions of people in their homes for trying to make something that they learned in published work? It's ridiculous. But the moment, say, a GW or a Pfizer or a big pharmaceutical company comes in and says, oh, I no longer can do this, I can no longer provide medicine for patients because they have patented that process, they shut you down from helping people. So that's the exact reason why I'm doing that, is so that way, one, it'll get published, people know, okay, this is how he's extracting terpenes, but secondly, to protect us so we can continue to do what we're doing. That's really it. I mean, it's ludicrous to think that I would like, oh, you know, if you make terpene hash, I'm going to sue you. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, I've got time to do that. Like, you know? So
or the money. How much money would that cost? Fuck.
Yeah, or the money. The money.
Holy shit, eh?
No, then Tony could actually lease out that information to these companies or give it away for free like Tesla.
Bomb rep. Group bomb.
So I'll tell you what. I went. One reason why I came to Florida, I went to Naples and I visited the Edison, and the. I just wanted you to see the flavonoids I just posted on there too, the temperatures, and the bioflavonoids and cannabinoids. I think there's a lot of undiscovered work right there.
For sure.
And so, oh shit, what were we just talking about?
Florida.
Naples.
Florida.
That's your oils and compounds. Have that printed out. Thanks, Tony.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been on our River Rock page for 4 years. I put it under an album on photos, albums, learning lab. It's been there for about 3.5 years. No one like really even noticed it.
I think I posted it in the endo cannabinoid system group on Facebook way at the beginning.
Okay.
Also got something here from Steve Hill, Cannabinoid and Terpenoid Reference Guide. That's another really good one.
To melt some of my hash together at certain temperatures and just check it out. I remember that from before you referred that when we first met, I think.
Hold on a second here.
What were you talking about Naples for?
Oh yeah, thank you, sir.
Got to keep your blinders on, dog. Got to keep your blinders on. Keep going forward.
Yeah, the Thomas Edison and Henry Ford Museum.
Nice.
So Thomas Edison, he has 1,093 patents in his lifetime. He gave away, as an example, one patent he came up with, which was the X-ray bulb, and how to do X-rays. He gave that to the doctor and science community just as a freebie. But you know, you're talking about a guy that created the first projector, the first film, the first cameras, the first electric car in 1910 with batteries that worked till 1955. He died in 1931, and in his lifetime, you're talking about the phonograph, telegraph, not the telegraph as we know it, but the mechanisms behind translations, electricity, light bulbs. I mean, the dude was all over the place. All over the place. He just created so many things that are used today. He created the record. So everything with music, everything with film, everything with solar, everything with electric use. He helped develop fundamentally everything that we have in today's society. He patented everything. It's just what he did. You know, he had a team with him. He went through that, and then that way they could go ahead and develop other things that created what they are today.
They let him patent everything, and they killed Tesla.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tesla's museum would be over the top.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Tesla was way beyond Edison.
Well, I mean, he was
in some ways.
In some ways, yeah. He basically, the difference between him and Edison is Tesla basically tapped into the resonant frequency of Earth and all things on Earth except for quartz, of course. But that was something that Einstein looked at, and the resonant frequency of Earth at one point was like, I don't know, somewhere around 8, 9. It's moving closer to 11 at the moment.
The vibration of life.
The vibration of life. So there's a pulse frequency, and he was able to channel and tune in those frequencies and create electricity from them. So he could take a fluorescent bulb, and you could run a sound frequency, even today, a pulse frequency through that bulb, and you could actually get it to light up without ever using electricity. He was known for putting a light bulb in the desert a couple miles away and using a frequency to actually turn that light bulb on in the desert, in the sand. And so who knows where we would have went if we would have explored that a little further. There's a lot of mystery behind his life. He was also in Colorado for a long time. That's where he did a lot of his work. And
that's where you smoke.
Then there's some really weird stuff that's out there that claimed his invention. There's a special type of device that goes into the atmosphere, and it goes in like a quartz spiral and then pulls back on a lower atmosphere. I don't know if you guys have seen that before. I'll show you.
I don't think so. I thought you were going to start talking about Patrick Flanagan. He was another genius guy that had all sorts of crazy inventions.
Yeah, I didn't go to his museum. I went to Edison's down here.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see. It was cool to see an electric car though, with batteries from 1910.
Well, that's nuts.
You know, while Henry Ford's trying to develop the first gas, he already had the electric car.
Right.
You know?
That's totally nuts. Although a lot of people are talking Edison down in chat and talking up Tesla, the one guy's saying Westinghouse paid engineers to invent all that shit. Edison just patented it. I was like, come on. How can you take away from the fact that Edison definitely had some genius?
Well, I explored his lab, and it's left is exactly as it is in Florida. He had one in New Jersey and one down in Florida, and he definitely had a chemist. He was a machinist. And there was another guy, Lemire, Lewis, who was actually a black guy in 1910 who co-developed the light bulb. So he's actually in the museum with him. And there's a lot of references to the patents that he did file, and that in the museum I saw, there was a lot of credit being given to the people that helped and co-create those things. So he was fascinated with music, and he was fascinated with the recording devices, and I think you could tell some of the projects that he personally was attached to, right? And the things that he then kind of created. I mean, you can't, over 1,000 patents. It's like you can't. It's hard to believe that one person could even fathom creating all those things.
I guess before everything got created, though, it must have been a freaking heyday for a guy like that.
Oh, you can patent something?
Yeah, and tons of shit haven't been even created yet.
It was virgin back then.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's the thing. When you go back to before things were created, I don't even think we can imagine what it was like.
They were created.
Yeah, they were created.
Patent.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so now you got this little piece of paper or this thing that says, "Look, you're the first person."
Yeah.
What you could have been using it for 1,000 years already.
Yeah,
and you now be like, "Oh, you're the first person, so you got the patent." You know, like stick 2 rods in a lemon. And
Are we hating? Oh, maybe people are hating in chat.
Why?
I don't know. Someone said too much hating on here for a bunch of pot smokers. Nah, it's the internet. There's hating everywhere. I think you must be talking about people.
Hash, that's funny.
Just
I think
hating
it's time for a bowl.
There you go. Bowl time.
A real bowl.
Are we gonna see you up in Whistler, John?
I'll bowl up with you.
How about I drive up there and puff hard with you guys?
Bowl up.
All right. Well, we have a beautiful house.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive down.
Drive down. Where are you, Alaska?
Driving down, then I'm driving.
Fucking Prince George. It's not
Okay,
Alaska.
It's almost Alaska.
It's not far from Alaska.
Almost Alaska.
Polar bears up there and shit.
Tesla's. Do you know about Tesla's death ray?
Oh,
There's a break.
Tesla's death rate.
Death ray.
The death
The
ray.
death rate. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, don't you know the United States got that too? Track that shit.
You got that.
And there's a patent on it also that we don't. That they
Actually,
say
you guys do have that crazy electric fucking.
Dude, they got the crazy.
The one that
sound
shoots from
the little truck. And you can
No, it
just
shoots
point
from the ship. I saw them blow this thing up in the middle of the ocean, and there was no trail or anything. It was
Where
just
you
after this
Brad?
thing, and then it blew up. And it was
Where's your
just
flag from, Dredd? I like your flag. What is that?
the great state of Florida.
Yep, Florida. Great seal.
Nice shirt, Dredd.
Death ray.
Represent.
How the girls, buddy? How the girls doing?
Very well, very well. Just turned and burned. Got the next round in. Just flipped it.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. Tony, look at Tony, John, Ashwin, Resman.
I don't have all my equipment and all my uses, my hashes here in Florida.
Really? So you're moving to Florida now?
No, I'm in Florida. I don't have all my stuff.
Gotta answer moms, bro.
See here. I do have a few.
She won't. I can't answer moms when I'm in Hash Church. Trying to get on this shit.
No dome.
5 or 6 rips deep on the CBD Renee.
Yeah, it's not too stony.
No, but it's flavorful.
Flavorful, relaxing.
Yeah.
U.S.
That's the one I was talking about, the railgun. That thing.
I got something.
We can't see the rail now.
Yeah, but they got these sound things, bro. They got these sound things, bro, that
You
if you're not in the direct path, you don't even hear it. But if you're in the direct path, it will just move you, bro.
Oh,
Because your like head's like, oh.
That's insane shit, dude.
You know, it's frequency.
For riots and stuff?
Yeah, it's frequency of warfare, bro.
Fuck that shit.
Can you
What about
imagine?
Harp?
Get that high pitched noise in your ear, bro, and just imagine that by like a million.
And then you're blown off your feet.
and then you just have to go either right, like a riptide. You have to either go right or you got to go left.
Yeah, I'm not big on their weird riot warfare against the people.
Well, that's Tesla's information, bro.
Well, this dude just said right here, this was another real positive thing that Metallic Box said, Nikola Tesla, the eugenist, eliminating undesirables by 2100. That's a pretty strong statement. For those of you that don't know about eugenics, that's like ridding the world of undesirable people. That's like some Kissinger and...
With how?
Well, like, you know...
Ebola?
I don't know if maybe Ebola is a way. Like, for instance, one could say that tobacco, that cigarettes was a eugenics movement. That to get rid of that trait in people, that addictive quality, because 1 in 2 people have cancer from fucking cigarettes now, which is ridiculous.
Everybody.
That's an insane number, dude. And people are just sucking on them like crazy. They can't control themselves.
I was just watching the Culture High.
Okay.
The other day, and they were saying how many millions die, and how many people die every day from tobacco and from what do you call it, pharmaceuticals.
Oh God.
That it's ridiculous, and yet the public is still fucking smoking these things.
It's ridiculous.
Well, because even more crazy than that, alcohol's super high up there too.
Oh yeah.
So it's like people aren't going to stop drinking alcohol anytime soon.
No.
But at the same time, when you realize just the sheer danger of it compared to the sheer safety of cannabis is like, they almost should have, well, they not even almost, they never should have been compared. Like, people are like, well, you know, take booze versus cannabis. Why? Why don't you just take, like, razor blades versus fluffy white clouds? Like,
you look at hospitals and how many people are in hospitals due to alcohol and tobacco, cancer, and all that compared to cannabis. It's like 40%, 45% are related to related to alcohol and tobacco products. That's why our hospitals are full of people, is because of alcohol and tobacco, cancer, and everything.
Just
the reason why people are in jail for marijuana. I mean, jail. Jesus, there we go. Are in the hospital because they use too much marijuana. That's for damn sure.
How about the level of violence that brings to the plate? How many guys have gone, you know, to the bar after work for a couple of drinks or whatever, winding down, go home, they're wound up because of work or whatever, or old lady has something wrong, they fucking beat them up. How many guys smoke a joint and go home and fucking even get mean to their kids or their old lady? How many people do that compared to a drink, a beer, a six-pack, and a joint? What's the difference on just the violence it brings? The fucking world.
Ask anyone that works at 911. Ask them what percentage of calls are alcohol related. You won't believe how high the percentage is.
And what percentage of, like, really, like, people could go into the hospital for marijuana? It's the dude that got too high and panicked and had to go to the hospital and was like, oh, something's wrong with me. And there's really nothing wrong. You're just too damn high. Like, eat a gram of Sam the Skunkman's hash. Hash will make you want to go to the hospital, but you just got to know that.
Ride it out.
You just got to ride it out, bro. And let me tell you, I ate a gram of that hash, and I looked over to my business partner, and I said, bro, you're going to have to take me to the hospital, so I'm going to fucking die. And he's like, dude, you're just...
Rob ate 2 of them.
Yeah, those guys would just pop one every other hour, bro.
Oh, my God.
You know, like, it's nothing, but to some people, bro, like me, a gram of hash oil made from even 99% heads dry sift ruined me, bro. But I didn't go to the hospital and end up having like a $2,000, you know, hospital bill that would just, you know, put a monkey on your back for being, you know,
for being that guy.
You were just high. Like one of my best friends, he's dead now, unfortunately, but he was very inspirational into my cannabis use, into my growing of cannabis. We smoked some outdoor weed at my house one time, some outdoor marijuana, grown in Ojai, and it got him so high. I thought maybe there was some bird shit on it, you know, because it really got him so high. And
does bird shit get you really high?
A block away from my house. Said, "Bro, you're gonna have to take me to the hospital. I'm really fucking high. I can't feel my feet." And da da da. But all it was he was too damn high. The outdoor marijuana was too strong. And, you know, I mean, just going to the hospital is something you don't want to have to do, you know?
I'm right on the verge of that every time I leave John's house or Bubbleman. Every fucking time. I'm right on the edge of too fucking high.
Well, I was too high last night, Dwayne. I just took myself to bed.
Yeah, you did. You were good to go.
You
You didn't even look like, I mean, I could tell you were definitely high, but you weren't all like, I gotta go to bed. You were just like, dude, I'm fucking way too high. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll see you guys later. You got that pipe in front of you.
Dude, well, look, they got this like $70,000 pipe that they want me to hit. I'm totally high. Okay, it looks like a fish, and you can't.
What happened to it when I lifted it?
Dude, you can only hold it one way. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
Did you see it slide over on the mat when I lifted the tail up?
I was like, I was so high. I was like, you guys, can you move this pipe for me? Move it away because I don't want to have to deal with it. You know, I don't want to put my head on it.
Dude, after that session, Dave packed that shit all into his car and drove home.
Yeah, well, you know, you guys are. I'm not used to this altitude.
It's true.
You know?
There you go. Although we are right at ocean level.
You know,
but there's still a pressure in the air.
It snows up here.
There's a pressure.
So. You're not used to the altitude?
Highness.
No, there is a pressure in the air that is here, and as we drive to Squamish, it will increase again, and when we get to Whistler, we'll be even higher.
Let me look. This is how it was for me, Tony. I've been up in the mountains, okay, where the roads are completely covered in snow.
Yeah, he was in the top. He was up top.
And I hadn't smoked since the day I smoked 2 joints the day I got here. I got a little bit of weed. It's still in my girl's bag right now, and I haven't gotten high since. And this happens to me every single time because I drive over the hill. I come to Mark's house and I get ruined, bro. The last time I was here, I was laid out on his couch. One hit of some or crush, something crush.
It was the crush.
To some crush dry sift. It ruined me. Like I was like, hey, bro, I'm human. I get too high. I'm not trying to claim that I don't, you know. I'm not afraid to say, hey,
it's what we're all trying for.
One too many hits for me, bro. I'm going to go lie down on your couch.
That is the goal.
It's the goal.
So, like, the funny thing is, there might be some merit to that because, well, there's 2 things there. Because I seem to be able to hang with Bubbleman a lot better in Jamaica than, say, versus Amsterdam. But I can tell you that the dry sift in its 99% heads that may not be testing 80, 90% like some of the other extracts or concentrates we've seen, that should tell you that that's preserving every type of cannabinoid and terpene in that little head. So when we go to smoke that, you're getting like the full spectrum, full entourage effect of whatever's going on in that strain. For me in Amsterdam, all I did was smoke until I passed out. I must have passed out every single day, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
We kept smoking so much, like dry sift and different terp meld and different things with terpenes, and it was like, you know, your worst case scenario is you just go to bed.
Yeah.
Whereas like with opiates, like I meet people all the time. They're like, hey, I'm popping Oxycontins like they're candy. You know, it's like just popping them all day long. Like, well, how many are you taking? Oh, like 10 or 20 of them for their pain. Now, how long have you been taking them? 4 years, 7 years? So it's like when you look at that and okay, worst case scenario, you're going to smoke a gram of hash a day. Okay? That's your worst case scenario. Now, you're not going to be in pain, right?
Nope.
Your side effect is you get a little
What's
tired.
a few naps?
And you get a little tired. But so you have to use the other components like CBD and sublinguals and capsules to help balance your life during the day so you can actually have a functioning life. And that's really what it comes down to. Edibles, for me, I remember when I first moved to Colorado, like everybody was in the underground world, in their own world of growing, except in California, they're obviously a lot more advanced, but people like myself that would come out of the woodworks from states that weren't legal, we didn't have, you know, we cooked with our trim and we made butters and things like that, but like a Chiba chew didn't exist, you know, like a 200 or 300 milligram little chew. And like when I remember first coming to Colorado, I had like a 300 milligram Tootsie Roll. And I thought I had to go to the hospital. my heart was pounding out of my chest. I was in in some club, and it was around like the first high times 4 years ago or something, maybe 5 years ago, and there was people coming up to me in the club saying, sir, you can't do that in the club. And I couldn't even open my eyes, and I was like, do what? What are you talking about? And he's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I can't even see, bro. I can't even function right now. He's like, you can't lay on the floor in a club in a fetal position and act like you're sleeping, even though you can have this conversation with me right now. And so my heart was like, I thought I had to go to the hospital. So I can surely understand, all the commercials and all the things for edibles. It's a whole different world when you're eating something versus smoking it. And I think that's where the education needs to start. Like, everybody's different with edibles. I know Dredd, he could probably eat 300 milligrams in a sitting. I eat 20 milligrams, and, I'm on the floor.
Yeah, we're good. We're still talking.
Tony, have you ever found anything that can help somebody when they're in the throes of what they consider an overdose? Like, when it gets to the point where somebody they can almost be seizuring from an overdose, from the tremors and the shakes and the vomiting. Is there anything that they can digest to, you could say, calm the panic attack? That seems to make the whole episode worse.
So that's actually what I use. If we're just talking about cannabis related, so a lot of people maybe haven't figured this out yet, but you can use the higher CBD concentrates or drops or things like that to counter that. So having an 18-to-1 or a high CBD sublingual will actually counter that. So if you can increase your CBD levels, it'll actually counter the THC. So that's why when you have a higher, like if you have a 3-to-1 CBD to THC, you're not going to feel, you're just not going to feel that response, But I haven't found you're talking about like a fruit or like.
Well, even look at it from the standpoint of the THC stops the seizure in an acute, specific oral amount of time through the bloodstream. We have no reverse for when THC is out of control. I had wondered, I'm like, well, would CBD orally get into the system at the same speed, or is that going to be through the liver, in which the person's already barfed it all up and they can't digest anything to help their system? It won't go through. So it would have to be orally, that it went through the gums.
Yeah, because so if somebody eats it, then it's locked in the liver. So then now it's really hard because now you've eaten a 300 milligram edible and you're like, oh shit, and you start to get that that feeling where you're like, I'm gonna lose it. And so the only way to combat that isn't putting more into the liver. I know when my dog ate like 600 milligrams once with chocolate. This is like 2 years ago, and I give her hydrogen peroxide, and hydrogen peroxide expanded in the stomach and made you regurgitate all of what you just swallowed. So that's another method. If you eat something right away and you realize that it's not going to be good for you, you can try to make yourself regurgitate that. If you've already eaten it, it's in your liver, then you're going to have to do something sublingually to counter that. I always use high concentrations of CBD, or even just like tons of water, man. Like there's times where there's nothing you can do.
Well, what is CBD dab? That would be concentrated. That would be you would have to go inhalation to jump the barrier of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would be CBD dabs to get somebody out of that. That's the closest thing. Not that you could get a high enough ratio, but I see that's the only hope.
Yep. I mean, I remember we had the first time we had that. It was like it's our AC/DC oil, and I brought it home, and I smoked as much concentrated THC and full melt and in shatter as I could, purposely to try to get myself as stoned as possible. and then I'd hit like 1 or 2 of the CBD dabs. It was lit within 20 minutes. I wasn't stoned.
Okay, so it would be like a vape pen solution that literally events and stuff like that where the ambulance is always coming for somebody on a brownie, they could vape CBD hit. And
I think it's going to go further. I'd say it's going to go further, and I think what would end up happening is a nebulized unit, a nebulizer, or a vaporizer that, especially a inhaler type of device. They have a couple of those out, but like a fast injection inhaler. So if somebody was, quote unquote, hate using the word overdose on THC, but took too much THC, and they were freaking out from an edible, then there would be a device that would need to be made like that they could come up to the person, and it might be something that is sort of like an oxygen mask that would fit over the thing, and you could just get it into the system. And so that's also why we need to, our country needs to allow us to explore the plant.
So when I've been too high, whether edible or smoking, I've always felt like food. Food always is a thing. It's a blood sugar thing. I always felt it's you smoke too much and your blood sugar drops and you need something to eat. I mean, I can't tell you, living in Amsterdam for 10 years and people getting off the plane and coming to your shop and thinking they're the man and want to take a hit of some hash, and they're like, and we just watch them go down and
fish out.
Yeah, but what wakes them up all the time? Give them a fucking Coca-Cola, and they're fucking back from the dead in no time. Like
low blood sugar.
Low blood sugar.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So there's probably going to be some inhaler device that will come out later in the future that has to do with blood sugar. I mean, that's why we have to explore it. I mean, when the government says
a little pill of sugar, you can patent that shit, bro, and give it away for free. You put some sugar water, a high sugar content in a little vegetable, a little pill, a cellulose capsule, and then it's fast release and it gets into your stomach, and then you're okay. But like you swallow and you get that THC into your system through your stomach, bro, it's a whole different ballgame than smoking.
It's like your cake pop. 2 years ago, I had your cake pop. I do horrible on edibles. I'm one of those people that just can't eat them. The cake pop, this is what happens. Like,
dude, you fell asleep so fast from Soma's edibles in Spain. It was unbelievable.
So no, listen, I gave my friend.
That's what we're talking about, Aaron. When a guy like me is on the floor at a club or at somebody's house, turns white, just like.
I'm giving you a Coca-Cola, bro. I'm feeding you a Coca-Cola instantly. Whether you haven't drinking a Coca-Cola in 20 years or not.
Aaron rolls with a 6-pack of Coca-Colas. He's always got them. He'll just pull them out of his pockets.
You guys have no idea.
Maybe we need a CBD Coca-Cola.
But listen, so when you're talking about those Kush cake pops, I gave my friend 222 milligram doses of Kush cake pops. It was probably over because and he couldn't sleep. At all. He was up the whole fucking night, bro. I mean, I could feed him pills, and he's a test dummy. Okay? He's not a dummy, but he's a test subject does not fucking get high. I'm telling you, you can feed him edibles, bro, and he will not get high at all. We got to come out with some crazy invention to knock this fool down.
We gotta welcome Jen Doe into the room. She just rolled in and she's hitting bowls with us.
Hi guys. Can you hear me? I don't know if my thing's even working.
It's working pretty good. I can hear you, and I think we should all hit a bowl with close to 300 people that are watching us in Hash Church right now.
Oh hey, nice.
So you've recently built yourself a hash room, we saw on Facebook?
Well, my hash room turned into my grow room, and then I built myself a hash closet. So,
yes,
it worked.
The hash room turned into a grow room. I'm a little overzealous on the hash room. I'm ready to hit a little bit more of
So I
the...
got hash in there drying, but I don't have any good hash to smoke until then, so bad day. So I thought I'd join church and partake with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we do it. It's a good way to
Hey, Jen.
welcome a Monday.
Is it Monday?
No, tomorrow will be a Monday. Tomorrow we will be in Whistler.
I know. We're gonna be fucking hitting our vape pens on the bobsled going 125 kilometers an hour.
Yep, 125 kilometers an hour. We will be ripping down the Olympic. I guess it's the Olympic bobsled course in Whistler that's been built there, and we're gonna go. I guess regular people can just go and pay a fee, and they'll put you in this thing and send you down the
Type in Whistler bobsled crash.
We had the Olympics back in 2002 in Salt Lake, and we got a bobsled built. I just never got to go down it, but we went and saw it. It looks pretty wild.
Jen's mic, it's robotic. She's not coming in very good right now. Yeah, that sucks.
I don't know how to fix it.
Mute.
Aaron's hilarious. Maybe we need to mute ourselves.
I found all these at my brother's house. It's amazing. I was like, bro, I didn't know you had Skywalker Orange.
Oh, it's because our fucking internet's shitty. That's what it is. It's not you guys cutting out. It's just me that hears it like that, which is unfortunate. I'll try to close some other things on my computer here, but I don't think it's going to work. Hopefully we have good internet in Whistler tomorrow. 6 days in Whistler coming up. I'm hoping, really hoping this year to do a backcountry adventure and make some hash out in the backcountry. Got some parchment fresh press there.
From Terpene.
Greetings from Argentina, says Ramiro Capdevila Fonrouge. Got a question. Who's willing to answer? With source of information, could you recommend reading for a better understanding about cannabinoids? Ooh. Terpene. Anyone want to suggest a book to Ramiro in regards to a better understanding of cannabinoids?
Well, you have to understand strains, and I think there's a book that I just got that was actually pretty good that kind of breaks down some strains, and it breaks down the genetics, and then it breaks down cannabinoids and terpenes and microdosing and different things like that. I think you guys know him. Michael, hold on, it's Michael Bacchus?
Bacchus?
No, Bacchus? Michael Bacchus? Here, I'll look it up right now. It's a pretty good book. I'm reading it right now.
Here, I got a book for you. This one has taught me a lot. Here you go. This is the book.
Very
Oh,
nice.
that's good too. Yeah, that's a great book.
Can you see that?
Isn't Jeffrey Guy from GW?
Yes, it is.
Don't you know where he
Great
learned
book.
Yeah, of course. I was gonna say that's like got to be like
Watson's protege?
that's all Dave.
And Russo.
Right.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've been studying it and reading it for a few years now.
You know, I think it's just good for everything.
Yeah, everybody should read this.
Everything.
I'm gonna go buy that tomorrow.
You can just Google cannabinoids. You do fun Wikipedia and go from there.
I also have a link on our website from our, what's funny is, hold on, I'll give you this. Our the National Cancer Institute has updated theirs, and it breaks down the history of cannabis and cannabinoids and then all the uses. It's actually on our United Cannabis website. I just put it up there.
And of course, I always shoot people to the endocannabinoid system group on Facebook.
Yep.
Nice to just share your links, share your information, and you can get information from there and take it and do with it as you will. So my mom's been trying to get a hold of me for the last 10 minutes, and I haven't been replying to her. So finally I replied to her all kind of angry, like, what do you want? I'm doing Hash Church right now.
For the 5th time.
And she says, well, there was a very bad accident in Lions Bay, and I tried calling everyone, and no one answered. We were scared to death. I was crying.
Oh, I heard that.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I heard the ambulance
I
as well.
call your mom.
And the helicopter.
And the helicopter, that's to take people to the hospital, and it was, the highway's closed. So it means it's a serious accident that most likely people perished in. And usually when they have to measure the everything, I don't know what, but they got to measure stuff, and they close the highway for hours at a time. So before we had our $900 million highway upgrade from the 2010 Winter Olympics,
we were just flying on it last night.
We were.
Yeah, we were just flying on it last night. Mark was just telling me this is the $900 million highway. I don't know why these people are breaking. They're, and
now that was probably someone braking that caused that accident.
Oh, totally. Someone just hit the rocks on the side of the road.
You can't be braking on a highway like that. Drive with your gas pedal, I say.
Yeah, I've been driving some crazy shit this whole week.
Yeah?
No joke.
Yeah, I guess you have. You went on the Coquihalla. That's epically dangerous highway in BC that just can turn into a snowstorm in literally 20 seconds.
It was nuts, you guys. Let me just tell you, I'm a California guy, and I was terrified. I got a good driver award, bro. I made it over the Coke and back.
Yeah, that's good.
The connector on the way up.
Especially with your wife and child. That makes the Coke even more like, oh. Gas pedal, I say. I was driving on the Coquihalla with my friend. My friend Alex, actually. And we were just driving. Yeah, I guess you have to on the Coquihalla. That's epically dangerous. Oh, it's Buddha. I gotta mute you, buddy. We're going up this road, and it's not really that bad, And all of a sudden, it's literally like now we're on black ice, and we're approaching this car in front of us that's doing 360s. And it was quite a story, actually, because I was driving the car prior. My friend was sleeping, and he said, wake me up when we get to the Coquihalla, but I didn't wake him up. I was like, I'm going to drive a bit of the Coquihalla. Well, when he woke up, he was very mad at me. He was like, what the fuck, dude? Come on, I told you to wake me up. And I was like, okay, calm down. You can drive. I pull over. I let him drive. Well, in 5 minutes from pulling over and letting him drive, no, we didn't spin, but we almost smoked this car. I had to grab the wheel and pull it to the right and take us into the ditch, which on the Coquihalla sometimes is a ditch, other times is a 1,000-foot cliff.
Dude, you're going over.
We lucked out. There was a ditch there, and we just went in the ditch instead of T-boning this car.
Yo, you're muted, bro. Somebody muted you.
Well, thank you for telling me. When did I start getting muted?
Like right when you started talking.
So what I was talking about was getting into an accident on the Coquihalla with my friend I was driving, he told me, wake me up when we get to the Coquihalla. I didn't wake him up. He woke up on his own. He was upset. Hey, I told you I wanted to drive on the Coquihalla. The Coquihalla is a big highway in British Columbia. It goes it's 110 plus kilometers that you can drive, and it's
crazy weather.
It's crazy weather. There's just like storms can be anywhere around the net. Yeah, whiteout storms. And so he yelled at me. He took the driver's seat. He smoked some Nepali hash with me, which I shouted out my manufacturer, who's in the room right now. And we smoked a little bit of the hash, stunk the car up real good, and then we proceeded to get into a wreck and drive off the road. And so the police had to come, of course, and they're searching they want to search the car because it reeks like hash. What's that?
He's like, I should have had a Coca-Cola last night.
Oh, that's so funny.
I didn't need one. I was good.
I should have had Coca-Cola last night.
I know better.
That's funny. Anyway, the cops ended up coming. They searched all of us. That was one of my classic maneuvers where I moved this pipe around my body as he was searching me, like I had it on me, but I was moving it from pocket to pocket. It was one of the most incredible, like, searched by the police side of the highway moments ever. And my one friend got to witness it. My other friend who was driving was less enthused by my getting away because his stuff all got caught. So we had to follow the cops back to the police station and him get fingerprinted and all that sort of thing. But it was a weird instant karma thing because, you know, bottom line of that story, when you wake up on the Coca-Cola, don't yell at your friend. This one right here, it's this one. I just pressed a piece. Maybe we'll just throw the whole thing in and let it bubble and melt.
Yeah, then I might need a Coca-Cola.
Then he might need a Coca-Cola.
Actually, this is CBD.
Very confusing with the Coca-Cola and the Coca-Cola Highway. I don't know if the audience is following all that.
The Coca-Cola Highway.
Fill us in.
Coca-Cola owns all the highways up here in Canada. The one highway that we have. If you Thanks for coming in, Ashwin.
The Coca-Cola. This is the one that goes. I don't know. It's just being from LA and driving, you know, and on these crazy mountain roads.
You guys are used to traffic. 9 lanes up.
Over the mountain instead of going around. It's a nice drive.
9 lanes of traffic.
To be honest, John, the Coke wasn't so bad going up it on the way to the Okanagan. It was the connector that was super scary. Like, a couple car accidents, bro. People walking up their brakes. I'm just glad I got the Tiptronic shifting.
So the one to Kelowna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 97 or whatever it is.
97C or
97C, yeah.
95C or some shit like that.
It was 97.
And then coming back, the Coke was just 20 miles an hour.
Oh, dude. Trust me, that's good.
No, I'm glad because there's 2 snowplows.
Yeah. And everyone's just following it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when there's just been lots of accidents right before that.
That's all I hear about is accidents going up to Coke, and they're like, "Oh, you should go take the whole Princeton," and I'm like, "That's even more curvier than the."
No, SoCal hippie hash man. Coke does not own all the roads in Canada. I was just joking.
Yeah.
The whole Princeton is one lane. It's a lot more dangerous. That's the whole thing. If anything happens on the whole Princeton, it's closed for days.
I think you're going to see, I heard like they're building a tram in Denver from the airport to Denver. It's like a $1 billion project. And then I heard there's like a magnetic tram or something like that being built from LA to Vegas.
They've been talking about it. That's a Tesla.
Yeah, and then there's actually like other cities talking about linking cities with these trains. I think you're going to see a lot more of the public of this type of public transportation in the United States, and I think you'll probably see companies like Coca-Cola and these other companies getting in on the sponsorship, kind of like how movies and other things work. I think it's the only way they're going to get shit like that built.
Coca-Cola has the largest fleet of trucks in the world, bigger than any single army.
Coca-Cola also is the biggest buyer of coca from South America still.
No shit.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Like their employees, they're.
You guys all have seen what happens when you put a nail inside a glass of Coke, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think they even hold a patent for decoconizing coca.
I need to clean the inside of my toilet bowl, so I'm going to use a can of Coke overnight and then get up in the morning and flush the toilet. Apparently,
Have you ever seen what happens when you put your hash in the Coke?
No, I'm not putting the hash. I don't drink pop.
Put your hash.
See what happens when you put a piece of raw meat in Coke?
Dude,
Really use it to like clean up like accidents and stuff when there's blood on the road and shit. Like.
Yep.
That's true.
It's great for getting blood stains off roads. It's great for.
It's a multi-purpose tool, you guys. It's first aid
Oh
kit.
yeah, it's drinking.
A sanitizer. I mean,
like duct tape, right? For several different things.
So Coke. So just so we established on Hash Church today that
to
Coca-Cola
make my crystal more shinier with Coca-Cola. too, if I just spray it on there right before I cut it down and dry it.
Classic DNA Tangy Cup winner secret
you guys
right
don't have
there.
any idea,
That's
bro.
88,
You know,
89.
you can also spray Coca-Cola on your ladybugs and they won't fly away. That's true. It gets their wings all sticky and they can't fly away, so they have to stay to your plants. You just like mist them with Coke.
You could give them like a little light way of molasses too, but
Jen knows what's up.
But they like Coca-Cola like the rest of us, you know.
So, have you tried that with the ladybugs?
Yeah.
And?
It works.
It works. They don't fly into the lights as much.
It works.
So wait, so you just like before you take them out of the packaging, you just spray a shitload of Coca-Cola
Yeah,
on?
when they're cold. When you first take them out of the fridge and they're cold, you kind of like spread them out and you like a pump sprayer, so it's really fine mist, so you don't drown them. And you just spray them and they're cold, and so they're not moving a lot. And then it dries, and you just sprinkle them where they go, and yeah, I mean, less will fly up into your lights and stuff. Otherwise, there are like thousands of them in the lights.
So here's an important question I have.
I learned that from an outdoor grower, because that's how they keep them on their crops outdoors.
Can I also use Orange Crush?
Yes. You can use anything that is sugary and sticky. Yeah, and it lasts for a couple weeks or until they get rained on, I guess. But,
well, it's a natural
yeah,
preservative.
Orange Crush would be fine.
What about ants?
Coke's acting as a preservative for the little ladybugs too.
Ants are all over those fucking ladybugs. Wasps are honing in on those
like, what
ladybugs.
about all the sweet, insects that want the sweetness and they go after the ladybugs? Like, look at those little.
I have an indoor garden, so I don't have that problem.
Right.
I just individually pick off one side of their wings, so they're just one wing.
One by
That
one.
would
You're fucking cruel.
That's so cool, Tony. I just break one of their wings, but allow it to be attached to their body. I just individually snap ladybug wings.
I tied
I find
One by one. You know, I dropped
Actually, I get Darrin to fuck my ladybugs up for me. I send them over to Darrin in PG. He fucks ladybugs up on the regular.
Does he
will
sift them first?
a dozen, and I will squash them in front of the rest of the herd just so they fall in line.
Okay, the first thing you gotta
Ladybug mafia here.
Dry sift them. You can just give them a quick bounce to get the wings off on a screen.
One quick bounce.
A little bounce.
Yeah, fuck them right up. Those
I'm sure
ladybugs.
everyone watching Hash Church is appreciating
ladybugs. Get those wings off.
the quality of Hash Church this Sunday is incredible. The information that we're sharing is
What's in Coca-Cola? Cocaine.
cocaine.
The coca plant.
It's the
I
cocaine.
thought that was only in Europe now.
Slows down ladybugs.
What's
know.
only in Europe?
Bugs on drugs.
Bugs and
Right.
drugs. Yeah, bong rip. Oh, I wish I had a clean dabber.
Fuck. Says Santa Claus was invented by Coca-Cola. Yes, but you should go also look at this this YouTube thing. It's called Pharmacratic Inquisition,
The shaman.
and it's a little bit about shamanism and religion. So
Siberian shaman.
you should look up that shit. It's pretty interesting.
I like what Benefiting from Medical Marijuana says. He says, haha, ladybugs better fall in line.
Where are you guys seeing this?
Insect.
I'm new here. Fill me in.
Fill you in?
Yeah, I like awesome comments. Where are you guys reading this stuff at?
Oh, okay, you got it. Okay, this is on the chat in YouTube, so I can send you the YouTube chat. There's 300 people, and they're all in one chat that's on the actual YouTube page.
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat here. Because I
Okay.
think here I'll send it to Darrin, because that's how I'll get it over to the other computer. Copy V, boom, and it'll show up over here. So what kind of hash you puffing on there, Jen?
Oh man, I've got like this brick of this like old school pressed hash that my uncle gave me.
Wow.
See that?
What is it, Moroccan or something?
It's like some Three Kings, I think he said.
Three Kings, eh?
Old school shit, but oh, it's good. I'm fucking high.
Blazed out. All right, well, there's the link here in chat. If you don't have the chat open in this chat, you can open it by going to the top left blue circle icon in this box that says chat, and then it'll open on the right a group chat. And you'll see that I put a link to YouTube. Just make sure you mute that link when you open it, otherwise it'll come through your mic, us talking in chat. That's where the chat is. It's in the YouTube.
Let me find the mute here.
So yeah, sometimes people have questions for people. For those of you that don't know Jen Doe has, she's a hash maker down in the U.S. and a grower and a mother and a girlfriend and a friend and maybe a whole bunch of other
Not a girlfriend anymore.
Come on.
She loves cannabis.
Not a girlfriend anymore, but you had the rest of it right.
You're not Bubbleman's girlfriend anymore?
No.
You guys broke up? You and Bubbleman broke up?
We did. We did.
That's messed up, dude.
Going to the Perez Art Museum.
I can't get this to open.
Well, Tony's got a girlfriend now. Tony had his picture the other day up of his girlfriend
She's a hot.
kissing. I showed it to my wife, and my wife was like, "What, did they have like a professional photographer take that picture?"
Totally.
No, that was a very good selfie, I'm guessing.
Of course, photographer.
Oh, really?
For sure. I'm positive. Hi, Tony.
All modeled out.
Selfie bar so he could have the perfect selfie.
Yeah, it's the effects and stuff.
That's a selfie with love.
Tony,
That's
is
a
that the
selfie.
girlfriend that packed your suitcase for Amsterdam?
Yes.
She's awesome.
She's hella cool.
Hell yeah. That was a good packing job. I was impressed. It was perfect.
Yeah. But
Jay Righteous is hitting on Jen if she wants to know. She's some dude in chat saying
I can't open my stuff. Apparently my Flash player is out of date. So
yeah, he wants to know if
open
you have a Tinder account and what the fuck is a Tinder account? Is that like a dating account? Probably. That's awesome.
No.
Tony, is that a Yorkie?
it's a Beaver Terrier.
Dude, that's not even your dog.
Yeah.
It's my girlfriend's dog.
Oh.
Oh, that's the boyfriend.
This is Ola's brother, basically.
So that's the dog you really have to love.
Just a mothership.
This one's super lovable. Look at her.
He looks super lovable.
Oh, that is so cute.
Is my hash for sale in the U.S.? Yes, I make all the hash for most of the big dispensaries in the U.S. Joking.
Oh, fucking the meltiest, craziest hash you can get for cheap. Dirt cheap. Giving it away.
We sell it for 50 cents a gram. Full melt dry sift, 99% heads. That's what we do up in Canada anyway.
25 cents up in PG.
The dog is ridiculous, dude.
Sign me up.
Honey, where's your girlfriend?
I don't know. I think she was unpacking something.
So you're moving me up to Canada for 50 cent grams, eh?
Should.
Up to Canada. Hey, how's it going, Buddhist family?
You just gotta drive up to Coquihalla up to PG.
Hey, I have one of your daughter's scrunchies.
You take the Fraser Valley route.
That's a special gift, B-man.
Thank you. Thank her for me.
Darrin was giving instructions to his house for that 50-cent hash deal.
I gotta pay 25 cents up here, man.
There you go.
Drive up there, 25 cents a gram.
Fucking
12-hour
Darrin
drive.
always trying to one-up me. Fucking first he's got his ladybugs and lines. Now he's fucking undercutting me on my full melt dry sift.
It's like Price is Right.
Fuck.
You sent the ladybugs my way. I had to do what I had to do, man.
Plus, if I call him out, he'll punch me in the face.
I'll drive down there. I'll drive down there.
He drives down there.
Dog as real dogs.
I'll take my bulldog to get you.
Birdie.
Howdy.
Foo-foo dogs are not the same kind of dogs as real dogs, really? I don't know about that.
I love my foo-foo dog.
I don't give a fuck. Me too, Rastafari. Funny, because Rastafari, Haile Selassie did have a little dog.
Abby's mad because I woke her up now.
This happened from New Orleans.
Someone's dissing frou-frou dogs. I bet you that guy does not have a girlfriend, but has a big dog that shits 20 times in the yard.
Hey man, it takes any man can own a dog. It takes a real man to own a little dog.
Yeah.
Hey, what's Abby doing? Sleeping in the background?
Well, she is, yeah. Abby.
Abby.
Girl. Come here. Come here, girl. Come and say hi to
Abby.
Oh, that's a cold floor. I'm not.
Aw. I feel like I should go get my daughter's rat.
Abby.
Did you just say your daughter has a rat?
Yes, and I feel like I should go get it because it's about the size of these dogs.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness.
I hope it's not the size of Darren's dog.
Look at Darrin.
No, she's actually smaller. Pretty
Abby.
big,
Look at that fucking dog.
my girl.
That's one thick bitch.
Get you to the spot.
Where's Nyla?
She's inside. She's too
rat.
crazy.
Mostly dog owners on here, except for me.
Oh, there we go. There's Tony's dog. He's just changed.
Oh, there you
his-
go. She doesn't pee or shit in the house anymore, does she, Tony?
I got her in New Orleans, like in a rescue type of situation. She was going to be.
So I think your dog can ride on my dog's back.
Nice dog.
Everyone's got their dogs. Wow, look at your dog. Yesterday I was hanging out with my friend, no, 2 days ago I was hanging out with my friend Christian, and he's got a 9-month-old blue-nosed pit bull, and the dog's head has to be twice the size of my head. It was maybe one of the biggest dog heads I've seen outside of the Mastiff. And man, this thing was licking my 4-month-old baby's head like you wouldn't believe.
Here's the rat.
Here's the rat?
We put the rat on.
She's got the rat? Oh my
my
god.
This is Missy,
You have a pet rat.
the mother of 12.
Oh.
She's the coolest thing ever. She is like a small dog. Like, they're the cleanest animals ever. Like, she will take a bath before she eats. She'll, like, lick
Why
herself.
do we think rats are dirty, and why do they carry the plague? What's going on with that? They got a bad
these
rap?
ones- yeah, I don't know. She's adorable, though.
Where you going?
My dog.
Playing with the golf ball.
Where's that coming from?
Trying to bring my dog into the room. I know those two dogs are like, what the? That's the classic universal, no matter what language your dog speaks, he speaks.
Rat.
Now that is resonance right there.
Where's that coming from? Where's that
Ooh,
coming
someone's smoking on the 99% Gorilla Glue dry sift heads.
You know, it'd be really messed up if someone said, "Hey, you guys want to go for a walk? Huh? Who wants to go outside and go for a walk?
Bastard.
Huh?
Crazy.
Who's gonna go outside? Huh? Who wants to go for a walk? Everybody want to go for a walk? Let's
Look
go.
at Abby.
Come on, let's go for a walk, Abby. Come on. Come on. Come on, sugar. You want to go outside?
Look at Horatio. What's Horatio got?
I
Dude,
got a white chihuahua.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, chihuahua. All right, so you guys, if any of your dogs wear doggy clothing, my homeboy owns like one of the biggest doggy clothing companies out there right now. It's called Hip Doggy. Send them, go to the info at Hip Doggy. Send them an email of your dog and tell them you want your dog to model his clothing. So then you put the clothing on your dog, take a picture, and you'll get free doggy clothing. Or if you like NFL teams, he holds a license to NFL teams, so you can have doggy.
Do they make it extra small? They have, like, little tiny ones?
Yeah, totally.
Well, why don't you do like a DNA clothing line for dogs?
Well,
There
Tony,
you
my
go.
buddy wants to sell his company and come work for DNA. He's making
Why don't you just
He's
absorb
making $3
his
million.
company?
He wants to come for to work for us. I don't want him. He's gonna sell it to somebody. He's gonna sell it to someone good. And he wants to be done. He just wants to save the cannabis community.
Right, right.
Actually, Ernie's been talking to him, Tony. So you know who my friend is.
I think that's a good idea. Pet clothing. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially like, could you see Sugar walking around with a Sugar in our warehouse with a Grow Your Own DNA T-shirt? Look at Dred's dog. Dred's dog's like part of.
Finding my dog collars. I don't think they make clothes big enough for my dog.
I'm telling you, my boy's got clothes big enough for your dogs, you guys.
Yeah, Sugar's a big dog.
All of them. Like
What's up, Sugar?
Sugar could be wearing the Denver outfit right now.
Sugar's like, what the?
She could be rooting for what's his name? Matt. What's his name? Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, who owns all those the places because they're
Oh,
all
right,
high.
right.
The Papa John's and shit.
Yeah.
Because he knows people get high in Colorado, so they want pizza.
Smart.
He's totally smart, bro.
Making some money on the pizza.
Sugar, you want to go outside and go pee? Huh, girl?
Sugar's like, yeah, I need to go outside.
Where's she leave?
Look at her. She's just looking at Dred. She's like, come on, let's go outside.
All of them are. Abby was even standing up for a while. Darren's having a frickin' party.
He's got coffee in one hand. Somebody just delivered him Starbucks.
And I even made my bed to hang out with you guys.
Look at this dog in the background staring at him.
That's a good presentation, Jem, though. That's a good thing.
It's good presentation. You got the chair.
What, girls? What's up?
You know, I couldn't get it to work on my phone, so I was a little bummed out. So
it works better on a computer.
Decorations up, though. I'm gonna put like banners for you and like pictures of awesome stuff.
Yeah, let us know where we can send some gear so we can get up on the Wall of Fame.
This guy says my dog would hate me if I tried to put clothes on him, but he did name himself Slurp on my dick.
You must like peanut butter.
Horrible.
This is the internet. I'm down for another bowl. Let's smoke another bowl. We need to get ourselves.
We're so CBD right now. We're not going to even get high.
We're all CBD. We're gonna get
Next
high.
week-
We'll cut through that shit.
Next week I should have. Hopefully this stuff will be
Break it on
dry.
30.
But I just watched some really good cookies from Geek Farms. Pretty gorgeous. I put up some pictures on Instagram, but
Is that a Canadian thing? Geek Farms?
nope. U.S.
Where are you from in the world, Jen?
I'm originally from Utah, but I currently live in Washington.
Okay.
You're a Utard?
No, I'm from Utah.
My friends Eric and Charlie always called it. They always called themselves Utards. I met these guys on String Cheese Incident Tour, and they were like literally two of the fucking coolest dudes I ever met on String Cheese Tour.
Yeah.
They would find me at the concert by looking for the thickest clouds of smoke that were coming out of the audience, and like, 4 out of 5 times they would find me at the end of the hash is a thicker cloud of smoke than herb.
Yeah, but you know what? That herb dank smell travels around corners a lot farther, and they come like, damn, dude, that's the best smelling weed I've ever smelled in my life. Can I get a hit? And I'm like, yeah. Think you know where to get some? I'm like, fuck yeah. That's how the parties used to work back in the day, dude.
That's how they go, eh?
You know, you like, yeah, here, just make some money while I'm at this party.
Might as well. This is how you get taken care of at the auto dealership. This is how you get taken care of at the movie theater. This is how you get taken care of when the plumber comes to fix your sink.
You know, the universe revolves around cannabis.
Aaron just has stinky weed around all the time, and then people are like, that's a nice smell, and then he says, oh, you smoke?
Yeah, that's what I do.
And then you know what you get? You get like, we were just talking about how much tires cost for his wife's car last night. He's like, yeah, it's been like, how much did you say you spend?
I don't know, it was a couple G's probably.
A couple G's on tires and brakes. It was $1,400 for brakes on the car. And I'm like, whoa, I only spent like $400 on brakes for my car. You know?
I don't even spend that. I usually just buy them at the Autoport store and have a buddy help me put them on.
There you go. Jen's got the right idea. Redneck Jen says, I do it my fucking self.
No, she has
Did
a
you
buddy.
see a picture of my big old truck? I've got
Little
this
friend who has a
big
mechanic
ass,
shop, and she gets it done. Bro.
I get the idea that she doesn't just smile.
I learned how to do that one. What?
I said, Aaron's saying that you just smile and get someone to do it, and I'm like, I have the idea that she does not just smile and get someone to do it. I picture her doing it alone.
No, I kind of, actually, I just say I need your tools and I need you to show me what I'm doing, but back the fuck off.
There we go.
I don't want someone else putting brakes on my car. Are you kidding me? That shit has to stop.
I pay people to do my brakes.
Brakes is a big
I got Jesus doing my brakes.
I learned how to do a tune-up on my truck.
Hey, there's
I do that
Nyla.
myself.
She kind of looks like your dog.
Nyla's making an appearance on Hash Church.
There's Nyla. My little
I
cuddle.
don't know where Oreo is.
He's busy. Miley's on him.
Big baby. This one just loves to cuddle. That's it. That's it. That's all. She's a good girl.
He agrees.
Okay, I gotta go put her back before she poops on me. Everybody say bye. Bye, Miss
Buddha looks like where I'm living right now, dude. If I put my camera outside, it looks very similar to that, except you just don't really see houses, just mostly the mountains and the trees. There's not really that much, I guess, people over there. There's a few here and there, but it's not really populated
He's
yet.
right here. He's on the coast here, too.
No way, Buddha's down in Cali. Where are you at, Buddha? Lake County.
Buddha, take off your hoodie.
What's going on with that dog?
Oh, I know that fool,
Yeah, it's
bro.
Alex
I
from
didn't even
Ohio.
recognize him, dude. I was like, oh, this guy, bro. And the kid is running around, walking. Holy shit, you guys. Are you having another one?
It's trouble. I mean, not planning anytime soon, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
My wife's definitely not having another one. After this last one, she was like, this is cool, we have a third one, but like I'm not going to do it again. So I'm basically looking to get some...
My wife sees his kid and gets googly eyes, and then...
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird
I've
shit.
got to keep going until I have a boy. I'm the last living male in my family.
The last living male in your family? Me too, dude.
Well, you're going to have a girl.
That's what we have in
Another
common,
girl,
bro.
You're going to be over... You're going to have estrogen flowing through your face.
Well, sorry, I have 2 sons now, so I'm no longer the last.
No, you got equal. It's an equal battle.
I only make girls. I have 3 girls, no boys.
5 girls.
I'd like to
5
say I
girls.
need a girl too.
How many
I don't know
girls?
if that's politically correct.
5 girls.
Darrin has 5 girls.
5 girls?
I thought I had it bad.
Oh my
6
goodness.
grandkids, and 2 more grandkids on the way.
5 girls.
Grandpa!
Grandpa fucking rights, man.
Oh my
Super.
goodness.
I know. Imagine how many, like, they say when you have a boy, you have 1 dick to worry about,
I
or
can't
1
figure
prick.
out women at all.
And when you have a girl, you have, like, 1,000.
Five of them that you can't.
5.
You really don't.
Hey man, you know what? It's not so bad because when you got a boy, and if that little boy was anything like I was growing up, that's like I've never.
Take
gone
5
through.
girls, huh?
But girls are awesome, man. It's just swimming in the estrogen every day that fucking I have a hard time doing. That's why I got some big arms. I swim, I tread estrogen all day.
That's probably how my dad felt, because I have it was my mom, me, my sister, and then when my 3 girls are there, like, that's it. He's got all of us girls and just him.
He's doing work in the garage.
I pity you guys. Yeah.
I got boys. The boys in my family outweigh the girls in the family at this point. So
I got 4 cats.
We've got 3 grandsons and 3 granddaughters, and we've got one granddaughter coming, and we don't know what the 8th one is yet, but we will.
the 8th one, Darrin's got like a full like hockey team.
Seriously.
Right? That's awesome.
And they're like, fast forward 10 years. Oh yeah? Well, my fucking grandfather's D420K. Check that shit out on YouTube, bitch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that's funny shit, dude.
Mind your own business. What we do?
Worry about yourself.
Yeah, 5 little girls telling you to worry about yourself.
Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Did you see the worry about yourself clip on Facebook that everyone was posting? It was like a little girl, and she's trying to put her seatbelt on in the back seat, and her dad's like, "Oh, hey, sweetie, do you want me to help you with that?" And she just kind of snaps up. She's like, "Worry about yourself." It's true. It's pretty funny, and then the way they edit it is like after she says that, it's like that deep sort of rap music where it's like, boom, where it's like the end of a song. It's funny nonetheless. Oh yeah, they're talking about the DEA right now in the YouTube chat. DEA equals IRS. In other words, the DEA is a well-oiled, strong-armed, and armed robbery machine. They will never stop raiding until they are disbanded. Yeah, they're gonna have to get something. They're definitely.
Hey, you know, when I got in a little bit of trouble, I ended up getting what was that, audited. They wanted 5-6 years, or they could only do 5 years, but I was 7 years behind on my taxes. They were looking at giving me $250,000 a year in fines for those 5 years a year, and 6-month sentence on each year as well. So another 2.5-year sentence on top.
Not paying your fucking taxes?
Yeah. They really fucking tried to fuck me pretty hard. So the day that I was thinking, I was looking at, you know, doing 5 to 15 years in jail, and I ended up getting an 18-month sentence on a condition that if I pled guilty to a couple of the charges, I'd have this sentence. I'd end up having 6 months to get in 4, and or I'd be waiting to go to court for another 2 years type thing. So I ended up, I got right off track with what I was saying there even, but.
Now that's some good hash, D420K.
Okay, there was a serious purpose to that. Okay, so they audited me when I'm coming back from getting my sentence. I got 4 months left to do. I'm literally, after being on remand for 6 months, I'm walking back to my unit thinking, fuck yeah, I got 4 months left to do. I'm out of here. I'm happy. I'm really happy. And then it opens up down this long hallway, and this IRS guy comes out. He goes, Revenue Canada, Mr. Massey, come in here with us, please. And then they lay this shit on me, and they look at another 2.5 years on top of what I was looking at, and $500,000 or more in fines and all this fucking shit. And so I got a tax guy that was really good, and by the time I got out of jail, I had about $15,000 in Revenue Canada fucking tax coming back to me. So when I got out of jail, I got all this fucking cash. I had like fucking 15 grand. It was awesome. And I've got my business, my D's joint, my hemp shop going, so I'm putting some money in that and everything. And then after they did that, because I got money back, because they didn't get to fuck me the way they want to, I got forensically audited. I got audited 3 more times after that. Every year I got audited. I got business audited, and then I got forensically audited, and was right down to the fucking pair of fucking socks, how many pairs of socks I owned, how many tubes of toothpaste I buy per month. Like, I mean, fucking forensically audited right to a T. And they didn't get to put their cock anywhere near my fucking asshole. So fuck them. And I did my taxes, and I did all my shit properly, but they really, really tried to fuck me. They even froze my accounts at Christmas time over, they said I had 3 months that I didn't file my taxes, which I had photocopies and everything for these 3 separate months of 3 separate years, dating back and everything like that. They froze my accounts at Christmas. The whole works. Over $800 is what I would have owed them. I had fucking 10 grand in my account. They froze everything until after Christmas, mid-January. I go in there with my paperwork. I say, hey, here's my paperwork, you fucking assholes. And the lady looked at me and said, oh, okay, I see that's here and everything. I started to get a little pissy about it and said, you know, I was fucking Christmas time. I had my daughters with me and all that shit. I didn't have Christmas. And she just looked, she goes, we could do whatever the fuck we want, Mr. Massey. So be thankful you got your money back. And she literally looked at me in the face and said that. I've never wanted to get up and kick a broad in the private area more in my life. And throat chop. But wow, what a situation. They really tried to fuck me, but they didn't get to. Fuck them.
That's good. They did the same to me with an audit one. They audited me for 5 years, and I also got out of it unscarred. But
Canada.
Yeah, they don't mess around with the taxes. You got to just pay your taxes.
Well, I mean,
yeah, always pay your taxes. Pay more taxes and then give it back to you.
Get an accountant, get a lawyer.
That's it. Because then it's also like depending on your situation, they'll try to fuck you worse. Like if you're just like some college kid that forgot to pay your taxes.
Who's at Dreads?
It's one thing. I don't know. You want me to see? Dread's friend is at Dreads. What's up, Dread's friend?
What's up, homeboy?
All right, let's take a big fucking bong rip for Dread's friend. He just came in.
All right, let's do it. Diesel.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. Coast diesel. What's the diesel you gave me, Mark?
East Coast sour diesel.
I'm gonna.
Right here, East Coast diesel, dry sift, fucking killer. Holy.
Shower, flower, bower, diesel, bladder, bladder.
Bounce.
Okay, so I'm forcing to smoke some bubble hash because everybody else is smoking dry stuff.
Look, I got right off track on my story there, just in the blue. Wow. Just sidetracked.
Cookie crumble.
Cookie crumble. Oh my god. Yeah, crazy stories. That's what Hash Church is today. It's crazy stories, Hash Church. Next Hash Church is going to have the great gardener Matt will be in for the first time. Aaron's going to be here again from DNA. We're going to have Flav in with the sick glass and myself all in one camera in Whistler. And hopefully we get the rest of you guys back in as well. I'm not calling it a day yet, but we have been going for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Not too shabby. Yeah, I'm puffing bubble. I just puffed, we both just puffed Astro Boy bubble. I like the taste of it.
You know,
Nice flavor.
kind of like that CBD one, bro. It's like that cherry.
The flavor on that is
that
unbelievable.
cherry flavor, it's nice.
Yeah, it really is.
Great burger CBD.
I smell it. It's very cherry-esque.
Yeah.
Damn. That's not even sealed in a container yet.
Let me go get my container.
I'm sure that he's going to bring ridiculous amounts of hash. Great Gardener's coming up for our Whistler adventure. We're going to be doing some insane adventure up in Whistler. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something fun. I just want to go snowmobiling. My snowmobile is on my vehicle right now.
I saw that. I was a little jealous, and then I remembered I really don't like the snow.
I want to go on the bobsled.
So
The
fun,
snow is-
though.
Yeah, he wants to go on the bobsled. It's like 125 kilometers an hour, like 80 or 90 miles
So fun.
in this little thing.
Do you have a GoPro? Can you GoPro that shit?
Like, after I've seen what happened to Michael Schumacher with the GoPro, I ain't wearing one.
I have one, and I will absolutely
I have
GoPro. Everything we do that's adventurous, I will GoPro because it's got to be shared.
I have,
Hey.
but I won't put it on my head.
Tony says he's bouncing.
All right, Tony.
They want to do some family time stuff. Well, we understand that. We totally thank you for sharing Tony with us this morning for a couple of hours. We appreciate it.
Gas and oil, the toilet. You wake up from cannabis in an edible coma.
Keep ladybugs in your plants longer, and it tastes better.
Coca-Cola. Tony, did you were taking notes.
Tony's always taking notes.
I worried
Did Flav-
Tony was going to start extracting with Coca-Cola behind the back.
He's already doing Coca-Cola extractions, Horatio. Full polar and non-polar and semi-polar extracts using Coca-Cola, and this is his secret.
He's extracting Coke out of Coca-Cola.
He uses that other Coke from the 80s, that real Coke, or what was the fucking...
Coke Classic.
The classic, that's what he's using. The Coke
That's the stuff you can get in Mexico still, right?
So
I'm
he
in
stacks
love
up.
with the Coke. Go.
All right, I think Mr. Nicotine just came in. Welcome, Nick.
I'm in love with the Coke.
Welcome, Nick. Welcome, Nick.
Welcome, Nick.
Welcome.
Yo, how are you?
What's going on?
Delay.
Shalom, brother. Shalom.
What's good? What's good? I'm still figuring this shit out. It's got screens keep popping up.
Yeah, you might have it. It depends on how you have... I don't even understand it exactly. You can click on the box you want to see, or you can click so that it moves to the box of the person that's talking and making sound. We're recording it through my channel. It's a live feed, so whenever anyone talks, I usually just click their camera so they show up in the recording of what they are saying.
Here.
Totally got here. What is this? That shit's off. I have decided that Aaron is a full-blown Instagram addict.
Are you on my Instagram? Do I need to find this?
He's an Instagram addict.
Dude, I haven't been on Instagram the whole week. I've been up in the mountains with no signal.
Did you make a post yesterday of that glass at least?
Nope.
Okay, maybe you want. The selector.
Oh, frozen up, y'all. Sorry.
That's all good, man. We're working it out. How are things going in the life of Nicotine?
I don't know if you guys are frozen.
I can hear you. I don't see you right this second. I have your mic open. It's a piece of lovely hash.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, life's busy, man. Life's busy. But life, you know, is looking more bright every day.
Excellent. That's why we have our Method 7 shades.
I need to get a pair of those.
Mine are in the grow room.
Yeah, I have one of the Method 7 lenses for my camera, but I need one for my eyes.
There it goes.
See.
All right, well, perhaps we should...
Now you're shutting down.
Nicotine just got on. No, I think we're going to start talking actually about, now we can get into an interesting part of the conversation, which would be the wax membrane and the way it holds moisture. And the potential...
You just brought me up.
Death.
Going whitey.
Over here.
You know why dry sift is so much better?
No, tell me why.
It's because you have the waxes and fatty lipids still in that membrane.
Right.
You know, we haven't studied those enough.
Right.
You know, like with this whole shatter game, it's all about getting rid of those waxes and fatty lipids.
Right.
Because supposedly you're smoking wax. You smoke flower.
Yeah.
Or when you smoke dry sift.
But we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. The problem with getting rid of, well, with the oils, the reason you would want to get rid of those waxes and fatty lipids is because with nonpolar solvents, you've left behind polar components that act as nucleation points in your lungs and would allow those waxes, if they stayed present in the oil, to go deeper into your lungs and cause more damage than they would otherwise cause. So that sort of led Jen to her post where she was asking about you know, what people thought about the crystallization or the whitening or the absorbing of moisture. Like, it's hard to assume each time whether it's, you know, I mean, it's when it's really wet, you know it's wet. When it's actual moisture, the hash hasn't been dried, and I find that fresh frozen is definitely the easiest hash to stay moist. It's the hardest hash to dry properly, at least here in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe that's not the case in Arizona or Colorado or even parts of Southern California. I don't know because I'm not there. But, you know, you guys...
Drying hash it's really weather-related, man.
It is.
Oh, man.
Drying hash is super weather-related, so I don't know. You're down in...
You're like crazy, and I'm expecting that stuff to take at least a week. Like, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
How are you drying it?
I built like a hash closet, and I slammed a couple dehumidifiers up to the sides, and it's in my 50-degree garage, and it's awesome. Seems to be working great. Temperature's holding. With the dehumidifiers on the outside of it, I just cut the holes and put foam around it. Just push them right up against there, and it's constantly sucking the air out.
And what about, do you just have it on parchment?
Yeah, I have it on unbleached parchment on bread racks and cookie sheets.
And you don't seal that up, or okay, you have it on cookie sheets. All right. I'm a firm believer of having some sort of a desiccant. I bet you even hanging large sheets of cardboard against the wall would absorb moisture, because as the dehumidifiers, you know, pulling the moisture out, that moisture gets trapped in the cardboard. That's why I do the pizza box thing, which is really mostly A, to keep dust and debris from falling on my bubble while it's laying out on the parchment, which for years I didn't even use the parchment, and I had people just... I mean, I guess the reason I should have been teaching the parchment is because while I was able to dry hash properly on parchment, cardboard, and I knew I was able to because I was photographing it with a macro lens, a very powerful lens that was showing me exactly what was there. And I mean, if I saw fibers everywhere in my hash, trust me, I would have never done it that way again. However, I did see many people plug in their hash onto cardboard in a way that wasn't sieved, wasn't planed, it was just like clumped. And of course, when they lift that off the cardboard, there's like a whole layer of cardboard stuck to the hash because it's like a giant puck of hash. So I think that's where the sort of people coming out with, oh, you can't put that on cardboard. I always put it on pizza boxes because it was food grade cardboard that's not supposed to release, you know, any fibers and whatnot.
Yeah, what I'm using is they sell these big sheets of the unbleached parchment.
That's what I use now too. I like the unbleached parchment.
The reason I kind of like that better is on those cookie sheets and that cold, like it keeps that hash really cold. Because those cookie sheets stay cold.
On another note, with your
it's a fully sealed box. It looks like a closet made out of foam board, and it's fully sealed.
But you shouldn't vent the air from the dehu out, because that's actually that's the dry air you want to put back into the room. You just want to empty the water out. So when you vent the air from your dehu out of your room, you're venting the dry air out, and that's what you want in the room is the dry air. So you're really not understand that whole method. Like when I run sealed rooms, you don't want to vent your dehumidifier because that's the dry air, and that's the air coming out of the dehu, and the back is dry air. So that's the air you want in the room. So just from my...
It's not a room, though. It fits 4 bread racks.
You're still...
But here's the problem. Is when you have a dehumidifier in there, it's killing my temperature, so... You know, it's going to heat up my little area, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having it 50 degrees in my garage.
I know, it's the dehu thing. So
yeah,
just was what I know from running sealed rooms, and I have my little hash room. And I don't run any dehus in it or nothing. I just have it closed with fans, and I keep my dehu down, and it does okay. So
yeah, that doesn't work here.
In the Northwest too.
It's currently 100% humidity outside. Yesterday it wasn't raining and it was still 90% outside. So I actually own, I should buy stock in dehumidifiers, honestly.
Yeah, you're in the rainy district right there, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's high humidity, so.
Not that we aren't. I'm in a rainforest. We're rainforesting. It's kind of a nice day out. I see some blue skies. I'm excited for I'm excited to go do some Whistler adventures. Welcome back, Nick. I'm glad you made it back.
Shit. This work?
Yep, it's totally working. We were just kind of trying to get back into that conversation of when is hash dry? How do we get it dry? Why is it such a bitch to get dry?
Move to Colorado.
Yeah.
The quick dry capital of the world.
Wow. Well, here it's not so much that way. I definitely don't get, well, certain dry sifts do. Oh my God, and who did that? Rabbi Licious. That looks like what's the glassblower's name? He hangs out with Slinger all the time.
Germ times coil.
Coil. Germ and coil.
Rabbi Dabowitz.
Rabbi Dabowitz.
I love that piece, Aaron.
Dude, that piece is unbelievable.
I was about to say something to you, Nick. I just seen it now.
Somebody posted that piece a while ago, and I put some kind of number on it, but they're charging crazy prices for those type of things that I can't.
What do you want, like $300,000 for it?
I don't know, something ridiculous back then. I can't afford that stuff. I mean, I love the value, I love the art, you know, the aesthetic of glass, but I'm a spliff smoker, and you know, I'd rather spend my money on eating well, to be honest.
Yeah, I had a hard time buying the clear mothership, and that's just as fancy as I get right there. And then Flav comes over with just pieces that are like you can't.
Yeah, I've seen some of those pictures. Dude's killing it. And like I said, I appreciate it. I just can't spend my own money on it right now.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I very much so appreciate it. I thought recently when I looked at my Marcel collection, because I have four or five Marcel pipes and maybe like one of his orb bowls. And Flav was he was like looking at it going, man, that's probably about $100,000 worth of Marcel that you have right there. And I was just like, shut up. How can that be?
Yeah, I had a buddy come over and look at some of my glass collection that's just been gifted to me, and he starts pointing at pieces. He's like, "Oh, that's one of the dude's first pieces. Oh my God, that one's worth $100K or whatever." And I was like, "What?
Jesus,
this is crazy. It's getting nuts out there."
I mean, really, dude. Oh fuck. Well, I guess finally people are really wanting to. If you're gonna have the best of the best of the best, why not have some epic, amazing piece that you can smoke it through?
Yeah.
If that's your thing.
I'm just scared to death to break them. It's almost, scary.
I traveled all over the world with mine, I have to say.
How much? Yeah.
I've had multiple reggae artists blow water through this and have water come out of my D-nail quartz bowl. No, not even take too big a hit, just kind of confused by it and just like, just kind of like, what the fuck is this thing? How do you do it? And I'll be like, oh, it's easy, man. You just kind of go right here and then you just suck. And then for whatever reason, it's just like a nerve-wracking thing, right? It's like you blow on it instead of sucking. The power of the quartz bowl right there. Welcome back, Rick.
Thank you, brother.
More Amsterdam representing. Is that where you are right now, in Amsterdam?
Yeah, I'm in Amsterdam. How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little internet problem, and then when I got my internet back up, my daughter needed me for a minute, so I was just tending around.
Yes, yes. I'm sure my family's waiting for me to come out.
Got the barb.
I just got a message. I got some food.
That was good shit. I was glad I finally got to try that in Amsterdam.
I'm mad. I still didn't get to try it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I was also a little bummed out because I was waiting for 10 grams in Amsterdam and I never ended up getting it. I hit a few bowls of the
I smoked so much barb.
The barb bubble.
I smoked barb bubble from or dry sift or bubble, whatever.
You probably would have smoked both.
In Santiago, Chile, we were smoking.
Because Sarah made some really nice.
Oh, yeah.
It came out really nice. Like holy
Oh my
shit.
gosh, it was so good. That was so good.
It was just what I guess it's got that Afghani. It's that shishka berry, and that shishka berry is strong. It has a strong, like you feel that shit when you smoke it. Not like this CBD, which is more just tasty happiness. That's what we're hitting right now. Got a little CBD dry sift Renee.
CBD dry sift Renee, we don't play.
CBD dry sift Renee. Do you want me to press it or just dump it in there in powder? Oh wait, here's a piece right here. Yeah.
I need to do a little pressing.
Let's go. Thank you. And the carb cap from Hive. Been digging the Hive carb cap. Although I do use the Task Rock one as well. The new highly educated are very nice. Very convenient little units.
Am I allowed to eat here?
Eat?
Or should we go?
You're allowed to do whatever you want, man. We're absolutely allowed to eat. I wish we would have gotten more into the conversation. I guess maybe it'll be.
Go eat, Pete.
Go eating in church.
Yeah, he's going to eat. Oh, Tony always eats in church, which is hilarious because Horatio often would often sit here starving, not eating, thinking that eating in Hash Church is a faux pas or something, and then I'll never forget the time you realized, wait a minute.
Motherfucker's chewing.
Eat if I want. Oh, that's funny.
So for you guys that don't know about Horatio,
Better next time then.
Horatio is the gentleman that was using the D-limonene to extract resin. He was extracting. You were making your own D-limonene, were you not?
Well, I refined D-limonene for extraction purposes.
Okay, so you made a lab-grade terpene D-limonene, and then you used the terpene to extract the resin as an oil.
Yeah, I find it superior. It's partially polar, so it's able to grab more than a one-dimensional butane. So it was something to research the hell out of because technically it won't boil for you. So it's, you know, generically impossible. That's why no one tried.
Right. Interesting.
I got to try that. Where did I get to just try that at, Horatio? That was really good.
Together.
Secret Cup, one of them?
The P&W.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was excellent.
Yeah, you taught me to use kitten milk to feed baby rabbits.
Oh, you saw the bunnies. That's right. I found these baby bunnies that our dog dug up a nest, and so they became the Secret Cup bunnies. Because I had to take them, because I had to feed them like every 3 hours or something. So I toted around this little group of bunnies. It was good stuff.
Well, back to your question about crystallization and when it's, you know, let's remove moisture and go, what, you know, can we get a list of strains that are, you know, you could almost say notorious for it. And it, you know, in where I live, I've got a week. Where Nick lives, he's got a month. And then you've got strains that you can pretty much brag with, throw on the table in the rain, and come back. And I find that all the names match with Shatter that does the exact same thing, or doesn't do the same thing. So I hear there's a limit on, because there is buttering because you got moisture in it, just like you got moisture in it with that. But on the elite level of the discussion, okay, that's ruled out. Like I mentioned, the same phenomenon is true in honey, because honey is packed with terps extracted from flowers, and honey will have the same tendency. Grape-derived honeys are really stable, and I'm like, holy shit, my Grape Crush is the most stable strain I've ever had. Could that really be true just by the terps that produce the flavor? You can trace that pattern back to other industries that have researched the shit out of it. Because when I look at the list, I'm like, okay, well, what terp is the acacia tree? Because I bet I can find a list of strains and get a sense of, okay, well, those strains that taste like earthy, this, they're already going to be problems, so get your gear on. And other strains that you can almost know it's a cakewalk without having to face, you can touch it. You know, sticky strains that are just like, what the fuck? It's rock hard, but it's still gooey. You already know what's going to happen. And when I feel that, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to drop temperatures like hell. There's no way this is going to sift. I'm going to have a disaster. So that same behavior in the strain, when we know what we're working with, tends to be the same propensity to crystallize when you've dried the shit out of it. It's still pulling in moisture from the atmosphere. Different honeys do it, because I've grown honey totally based on lavender and have one result, and then have a mixed honey, which is clover and the basic grasses, and it's pretty much, you might as well make butter out of it and crystallize the whole thing, because it's going to happen anyways within days.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it's going to be said about different growers as well. Because, you know, working with all these commercial grows, I've had strains that for years I've said, you know, this is a strain that, you know, always tends to have that instant buttered, you know, consistency. And then I run it with another new grower or something that's not using the same nutrient line or, you know, whatever that variable may be, and I'm able to get a consistent, stable product. You know, so there's so many variables. Hard to nail it.
That's the factor I wanted to bring up. In the honey article, it specifically focuses on sugars as the other component that triggers that precipitation. So I looked at all these bud candies and all these molasses, and I'm like, when I don't get a clean, you know, filtration, I look at it and I'm like, what is this? Is this magnesium? Is this all those other, you could say, defects that are getting cannabis out of its natural, you know, scenario where we could count on results? Because I look at it, I'm like, okay, this guy's using some stuff called terpenator, and it's pretty much pumping the plant with flavonoids that are going to then develop into terpenes that throw the plant out of whack. So yeah, if you do have excess limonene, it's never going to be stable. That shit is a solvent all the way through.
Absolutely.
It's wild how it relates to honey like that and sugars, because it does look like that also whenever you see it settle. So it's relative. It's wild how it really does relate to it.
Once it said the water's on the bottom and the crystals, the dry portion on the top, I'm like, oh no, that's sugar wax they're describing. All the moisture precipitates down, and then the dried crystal surface that remains in the butter, it's exact, and that's where you get those unique flavors that people prefer that tend to come out in crystallized product. That's why there's crystallized honeys that are better whipped than they are trying to keep it hot and clear. It's a weird phenomenon because butter doesn't necessarily mean moisture content, where something that sugar wax is in that gooey consistency, that's usually an actual fuck up. That's where real water in there, and it's beyond, you know, even what honey can pull in left out, unless it's a super water-loving strain with the flavors it has.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, smakelijk, Mark.
Loving it.
Loving it. We gotta go on a fry run. Everybody ready for a French fry run?
My wife brought me a sandwich. Half a sandwich. I think it's half of Aaron's sandwich, actually.
Enjoy.
It's a little gefilte fish. All right, let's do a bowl. Maybe this chemo, strong. Dab it up from higher end. I love that so many people have hash these days, and it's like whenever I go to smoke hash, there's like all these different. Do you find this out there, you guys, that you're like, you have your own hash, of course, you might be a hash maker, but then you have your stash of all your friends' hash that they're making and giving you little gifts of. That's the best.
These cups have been awesome. I got a huge bowl last time.
It's the best.
I love smoking all my friends' hash.
It's awesome.
It definitely is a great thing.
I think I have some hash from some of the top makers throughout the world right now. Loving life.
That's a nice collection.
I just hit that Nicole.
You know, I didn't get to try that one, I don't think, did I?
That Nicole was really nice.
Those trichomes literally just fell off that plant. We were shaking some of the buds and just getting clear heads, just crazy yields. That's definitely a beautiful dry seed strain, that Nicole.
Yeah, respect, bro, for real.
I think I showed up too late.
Huge head dropping off.
Have you tried the parchment wrapped on the DVD trick with dry sifting yet, Nick?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I've seen this trick.
I put it on, well, it's been on a lot of videos, actually, like 3 or 4 times, but it's on my dry sift quiver video, which is real simple. It's just like carding, except you card with the parchment paper wrapped around the DVD player, and it pulls up along the edge of the DVD player the smallest amount of heads that you can then brush off, really like in a pure form. Like, it's kind of, I'd say it's now gonna take over the 2-screen trick that the Dry Sift Wizard was really promoting, which is also a great method. This is just faster.
Wait, so, sorry to interrupt, but you said a DVD player?
No, a DVD case, sorry. It's just, even a large card would work. The DVD case is nice because it's big, but anything that's like large that you can wrap the parchment paper in, it just it creates a small static charge and just attracts, you know, just a nice right along the rim of the case when you're carding back and forth. You get this nice, beautiful. Yeah, there's Darrin doing it right now. Boom, wrap that up. Card it up, and it just appears all over the side of the.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, just Google static dry sift.
He doesn't even have to, Johnny, because he's getting a live demo from Darrin right now.
Live demo right now. I appreciate this.
Awesome.
Yeah, me too, because I want to try dry.
I don't go back and forth.
Yeah, just once.
Okay.
One pack.
Away.
What do you do? You
Make a
just
charge.
wrap it up? Or you gotta like rub it on it or something?
No.
No, you know what? I find that in the beginning of it, I don't have much of a charge, so I'm not collecting that much. But if you look at the videos that Bubbleman has on my dry sift how-to videos, you can see that on my iTunes cards, when I'm sifting, carding the stuff, on one side I collect contaminant, on the other side I collect pure heads. So I brush one side off in one pile and the other side off in another. And after about a week of cutting, I get about a gram or two of really pure heads, and then my other dry sift later on, right? But with this parchment paper, I have very little contaminant that brushes on here, that stays on it, but I have a shitload of pure heads on the other side because of the charge. Now, I brush that off into a pile, and I get about a gram or two in about 15, 20 minutes. And then if you take that pile and you make a big pile out of it, and then you take that pile and do the same thing with it and refine it even more.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's a 1 to 2% difference that Mark always tells me. That's the difference in the high and everything. And the difference in that high is a head rush every single time. Literally. Fucking incredible shit.
What screens are you using and how many?
Well, we're using the Brooklyn Mango, we've got Diesel, we've got Holy Grail Kush, OG Kush.
Sorry, screens.
Screens. Oh, well, you know, I like after I've taken it off of my 4-screen setup, I have it in piles on my plate. I'll have each pile of it on a plate. Now this is after I've refined it, but I'll have the pile up like this. And then to make it a little easier for sifting and make it more pure, I'll take my 4-screen set of my smaller screens and run it right through there, so I have a cleaner product to work with right away. So when I'm carding it, it's just so much easier to get the heads out of it because this parchment paper on the CD case are basically a carding technique, but has more static fucking to it, more positive static that attracts the heads than the negative. It's a really neat trick that works for me really good. And if you do it a couple of times, do those piles a couple of times, you will see.
Oh, it's working for a lot of people really good. Never mind, I've been talking to a lot of people, and I mean, really what it is it's an advancement on the carding, because it's that gently taking the resin over the screen. And what Darrin didn't mention that's also happening, and that is why more heads are getting sucked up onto the parchment paper, is that while you're going across the resin, you're also pushing contaminant through the screen. So you're doing two things. You're pushing contaminant through, and you're pulling good heads up. So it seems to be why it's very efficient. It allows people to make a decent amount, and yeah, it's pure. I'll tell you, the purity is definitely pure. There.
The melt on it is just like water. Like it just turns to complete liquid.
Yeah. There's really something to be said for that last percentage. Bubbleman, can I get 99.9% resin heads with 2 screens? You can, absolutely. We've just literally talked about one way to do it. You can also, well, I haven't personally got 99.9 with the 2-screen 250 micron and the 180 micron. I usually get around 90, and then I just take it and then I clean it up over my 70 micron screen. If that's what you were asking, Nick, then the size of these screens in LPI are 60, 90, 110, and 200. That's in lines per inch or mesh, which is how silk is measured. But the microns, which is numbers that most of us are more attuned to understanding, those numbers are counterintuitive. So the 60, the smallest number, is 250 micron, and then the 90 is 180, the 110 is 150, and the 200 is 70. The 200 is the one we clean on, the one that he was just doing the parchment carding trick.
Say it again, please. Slower.
Say what again?
Say those numbers again for me.
60 lines per inch
Yep.
equals 250 microns. 90 lines per inch equals 180 microns. And then 100, 110 lines per inch is between 150 and 160. And then finally the 200, which is, I always make it a yellow screen so people can kind of know that that's a different one, even though we do put the screen size numbers on there as well. That's the 70 micron, 200 lines per inch. And you can use a 300 lines per inch as well, which is a 50 micron, and you can separate out heads that are smaller than 70 but larger than 50 from what you've pushed through on the 70 micron. I end up with huge piles of stuff under my screen when I'm done, which shows me that I'm definitely pushing shit through.
I've been working on a pile for about 6 months slowly. It's a long, tedious process. But not like working on it full time. I'm like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Because once again, I do have a big pile of that heads from underneath the 200. But one day, I'll just like put it into something. I'll go into a baked good or into a pizza.
Excellent. Well, I guess I have one more bite of sandwich. You guys busted me mowing on my sandwich, and then I got all self-conscious and stopped eating it.
So, I guess to get back to the the water content, the buttering, and things like that, I kind of wanted to start by, if you guys still have enough time on this thing, but I kind of wanted to start by just talking about definitions of what whiting out is and what buttering is, because there seems to be a little bit of discrepancy in the industry or the community right now, just regarding those definitions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Because a lot of it's just appearance, in reality, is what we're talking about right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you lose terps when things butter up, or
and then
like
other
that.
times you gain them almost.
Yeah, other times it's like
same thing.
Yeah, it's the flip. It depends on the temperature. I guess probably because the temperature that I'm at over here is kind of constant cold. That whenever things do butter up, they're going the other way.
Well, yeah, I mean, even here in Colorado, where it's constantly cold, just as an example, even to relate it to solvent extracts, certain solvent extracts will actually get more, flavor, more smell, and things like that once they're buttered. And I think the same kind of goes for solventless extracts as well. Just for an example, this OG I had that I was talking about yesterday, it buttered, probably 2 months down the line, but for some reason I opened that parchment paper. It was just lying on my countertop in open air or whatever. Opened the parchment paper and it was just so much louder. I don't think that happens often, but it does happen every once in a while.
I think definitely strains
by any means.
I've had it with more sour strains a couple times.
I was speaking with
the quote unquote curing of the terpenes and or what it could have been. Maybe those resinous glands that were extracted haven't been properly cured yet, and over time they do get cured and or exposed to oxygen, allowing them to be more receptive to a smell or a taste.
I think it's those certain terpenes that are, a lot more air volatile that are coming out, That's what we're smelling, is them trying to escape, because those are the first ones to try and escape, really.
You've got crystallization opening up the surface area by the billions compared to an unpressed or even pressed piece of hash. So to the human experience, it's off the chart. I mean, it's the same reason why we break open bud. We don't just stare at it. That's why when I hear the preference, I'm like, well, the preference is in place. It's just what happens is the amateurs follow that preference and then walk into wet, greasy shit. But when that's out of the question, you've got terpenes that over-oxidization then increase. You could say it increases the ratio So that's why wine gets better with time. And that we register become greater in certain strains. Other strains are more like fresh fruit, and it's when it's live, when it's ripe, it's delicious. But if you don't put it in a preserved form, it goes bad really quick. So there's going to be strains that we gobble up. There's going to be strains that are great to put away for the ages. There's strains that are terrible to put away for the ages, just like there's tomatoes and there's pumpkins that are good for one thing or bad for another. It's just recognizing it and working with it. If you want to preserve something amazing that is prone to crystallization and degradation, you're going to have to dry the shit out of it and then seal it the fuck up. So it all depends on...
Even when you do that sometimes, that doesn't happen. Like, the one that I had that did it, like, it was incredible lime flavor. Like, incredible. So is that a coincidence that a lot of these are having that limonene in there that are causing that reaction because it's like an acid? You know?
I mean, limonene tends to taste more orange peel-like, but skunk tastes really limey, and lime tends to, you could say, persist. That's why we use it in cleaners, and it has a low degradation rate where other light fruity flavors won't. So yeah, you'll find that sour skunkiness. The terpene isn't limonene to look at. It's really looking up the plants and then looking up all the tests that the people have spent their money on to get a list of the terpenes that are notorious for shit. Because that's how I find the honey document. I went through crystallization of liquid, you could say resins, and then it started to turn up, and then it became easy to get a list of 12 to 15 terpenes that generally will give a positive or negative.
Well, it would be interesting if we even had an idea. I look at some of these terpene profiles that I got from Matt the Great Gardener, and these are just a complete profile of the terpenes that were present in some of his strains. And there's dozens of terpenes present. A lot of them I don't know what they smell like. I don't know what osamine smells like. I don't know what nerol or geraniol or bergamotine or germacrine or valencine is an orange one. I know that one. But there's so many here that we don't know, and I think it would be very interesting if we were able to get these broken up so we could actually smell them and differentiate and be like, oh, that's, you know, what is haze? What is that haze combination of terpenes that seems to be, like Rob mentioned in Hash Church last week, a dominant smell. No matter what you cross that haze into, it seems to stay present through a lot of the resulting genetics.
Well, I mean, what's funny about the names you threw off is all those Latin names were familiar to me, and bergamot is the plant we need to smell to know bergamine, and those terpenes, they're pretty much a lot of those you mentioned are present in my garden, so I can tell you exactly which plants cut through a garden full of flowers. They're out there, and if you Google them individually, you'll actually get where they come from or where they're most dominant in nature. And then, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, go on a smelling tour of the forest, the streams, the flowers, and everything in between. Just like the diesel smell tends to, there are plants that stink horrifically.
And then you find out it's whatever, isoborneol, or fenchone, or phelendrine.
So I guess with that, if we could figure out that isolation, then it could lead to figuring out which one of those is dominant for curing or, well, I guess, quote-unquote curing or storage and or properly drying and storing versus having all of them evaporate now.
Well, you just have stuff that's seasonal. It's like, get your fresh, ripe berries while they're ripe, and everyone should, you know, appreciate the strain for what it is, but it's not going in the time capsule. It's food. I mean, these are all the behaviors I see within other foods, and they can be respected, and also, when you get something that's super stable, some days it's just not you, and you shouldn't beat your chest, because the terpene in it is, you know, you'll find in other foods naturally used to even to cut into your sauerkraut. And
You can say it's not stable, but at the same time, like once it changes, it is stable. Like I had a gram that I opened 6 months later that like, I mean, what's our definition of stable? Just because it transforms doesn't mean it's not stable. It means that there's some sort of chemical reaction that has changed it, because my shit was stable, and it like I still have a jar that has like barely scrapings in it, and I can open that jar and it still smells the exact same, like the exact same.
It's the terpenes that remain. Even if you get something that's unstable, if you age it, it could burn off those alcohol-based terpenes that are more volatile than, let's say, an oil-based terpene that will remain. I mean, we've all got things, even curry stains persist throughout time if you use the mason jar for the wrong thing. So unstable strain can be aged to stable, but that's going to be more rare and random occurrence. It's not going to be something you can cause.
I think stable is a very broad statement, and people are kind of stuck to this certain definitions that who put those in place. Like, what makes this stable versus not stable? Like, what it is whoever has given us this interpretation of that. And I'm very open to the fact that there's different interpretations, and I think there needs to be a little more explanation as far as what we're talking about. Because when you're talking, you're saying not stable, but yet I'm saying, okay, but I'm looking at a product that I 100% consider stable. Like, I think that there needs to be more definition to this and like a little broader thinking, because everything's so like this, when really, like when it gets down to it, there's more going on, you know, well, even if it's a different subcategory, you know.
Stable is good for preservative. That's what stable usually meant. Traditionally was good for preserving. It will survive the winter. Strawberries will not survive the winter in a cellar. They're unstable. They're fresh. They're eaten live, and stable would typically be considered, I can put that away. Hash was a way of making plant material stable. You could stabilize the trichomes into a format that you could put away and have, even if it's your medicine, all year long. So when we're really prizing stability, it should be in relationship to preservation.
So the difference that I'm seeing is like there's a difference between crystallization and just not dried. Like maybe there's a similar look to them. I don't know, but the fact is what you're saying is if it can sustain shelf life, like my version of stable says yes, this could. Now there's a different version that has that moisture in it. That is also considered crystallized, which I think, you know, again, it comes down to the definition of what we're trying to say here. But there's stuff that will mold, okay? So that's obviously not stable. But huge difference, because mine totally sat there 6 months, like better than the day that I jarred it. It was incredible. And I know I've had like one other kind that I'd gotten from one of the cups that was the same. So just because they change doesn't mean it's not stable.
Well, Nick, would you agree stability and mold aren't related? Mold is a failure by the hash artist, stable or unstable. I mean, that's being perpetuated.
But mold goes along with moisture.
Well,
so if there's no mold, there was no moisture?
Mold
is it moisture requirement for mold?
I would bring it to this. I would take it to this. I'll say this much. I can even get slightly hypnotized in North America when I'm smoking bubs and different people are passing it around and making it, and even some of the dry sift that somehow has absorbed moisture out of the air. But the real bottom line is there is a subtle difference to it, Jen, and where I see it really is in like in guys like Skunkman Sam and Rob, who have been literally smoking these resins for 35 plus years, and not like the shitty imported fucking versions that most people from those timelines are smoking, but literally the level of shit that we're smoking today, but in a full melt dry sift. They've just been smoking it for 35 years. So when you approach them with water hash, they are a little bit of a bigger snob than most, in the sense that they're not easily like, oh wow, that looks so nice, that's really nice, oh wow, look at it melt, because they've already been on that game for like decades. So now it really comes down to, how does it feel in my throat? How does it feel in my throat? And they're comparing it to full melt dry sift. Now I can myself say this, I didn't even understand completely what that meant, because I smoked chronic bubble hash all the time. And of course, I smoked it back in the day when it wasn't properly dried, when we weren't doing it right. And as we learned how to do it right, I learned those subtleties that Nick was talking about, as to how when you actually allow it to dry, certain terpenes are removed and it makes for a nicer hash. There are terpenes that are now able to sort of, you're able to hear or smell them, due to the fact that the ones that were masking them are now gone. And these ones are even louder than those ones were in the first place. That does happen. And it happens mostly in the proper drying. When you release, I think most people that make water hash can agree, because we've all made it and then been like, oh, I just want to taste this right away, and like taken a fresh dab of some like fresh water hash. It's moisture. It's not a pleasant thing. And so what those guys have taught me over the years is that subtlety of how does it feel on your throat when you're smoking it for a day or 2 or 3 days in a row. What I did this year in Amsterdam, and I can be honest, I smoked, aside from Legends, I smoked very few other people's hash. I smoked all the stuff that Tony and those guys had from Trichome Heavy Extracts. I smoked my own dry sift that I had that never changed form, and it's still the same. The little bit that I have is still bone dry powder. The same as it was in Amsterdam the whole 10 days that I had it there with the lid off. And I didn't really have that sharp heart. One time I went and I smoked a bowl at Soma's place, and it wasn't even his personal stash. It was just someone that had hash there. And it looked pretty nice, but it was a little softer than it should have been. And I took a big dab of it, and oh my God, the feeling on my throat was that of dabbing moisture. It was very harsh. And so I think that bioassay can go a long way. If your hash isn't doing that to your throat, if you're not feeling that at all, then definitely, regardless of what it's doing and changing shape, if that's not there, then, you know, in my opinion, it's been dried properly. Now,
so Nick, you tried that stuff. What did you think? Because I smoked the shit out of it. Like, what I didn't enter, that's all I smoked, because I've never had a flavor like that. It's like that sweet. It tasted like a green otter pop.
It's so
it was
good.
Delicious and smooth and like incredible. I mean, maybe I'm biased.
Which was this?
Tried it. What did you think?
Are you talking about your the cotton candy whatever? What?
The cottonmouth fish.
Yeah. Cotton fish. I mean, I thought it was great. I don't think it had that harshness on my throat. I think, you know, the reason that it had a little bit more of that, you know, buttered consistency was just the terpenes. You know, I think it was dried properly. I think it was that certain type of volatile terpene that escaped to create that consistency.
Pad, he's bringing the pad. Yeah, well, you got to smoke it, so I mean that's really what it boils down to. What I think is it's why it's a dangerous sort of road that we're on, is that if for instance, if your hash is the anomaly, there is that anomaly hash that does seem
that's
to just,
kind of what I was talking about, you know, with this. I get a lot of criticism, and I was like,
it's because of that. It's because 9 out of 10 times it is buttering out. 9 out of 10 times they haven't. Most people who make water hash aren't drying it properly. That's easy to agree upon. So when people see a thread like that, of course they're going to jump on like the fact that it's like, oh, it's not dry, it's this, it's that. It's hard to say what it is if you haven't smoked it and you're not there in person. To me, the easiest way to tell is by literally seeing it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Can I press it back together? You know, definitely, for me, Legends was never about a contest, but those dudes, the older dudes that are a part of it, for them it's a big deal that the hash is like stable and hash. They like it to be hash. That's why Barb was the piece of hash was just such a fucking beautiful piece of hash. It was just like a solid brick of caramel that you, if you threw against a wall, would shatter into a million pieces. Yet it was like you could bend it and pull pieces off. It was definitely...
That's what I thought we were talking about before.
Now, here's the thing with the barb, though, is when we were having this discussion originally, Matt had brought it up and was like, hey, no, there's got to be something to this because my barb dry sift does this.
Yes, absolutely. Barb dry sift does it. And I think when the barb dry sift does it, you can say for 100% certain that there was no water left in it because he's drying his barb properly and whatnot. So that's something different. But I bet you 9.9 times out of 10, that does not turn over to being the same as with water hash. Most times I see water hash. And how you can really know is when it's soft. When the hash won't be hard anymore. It should be hard. It should stay as a hard substance. When it, like this dry sift that I just made this morning, excuse me, got a little in my nose and it was spicy. It's very hard. I can flip it upside down. It's powder in the sense that if I do this and shave it with my finger, you'll see the powder fall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
That's
still...
why we're kind of looking at I would almost like to see a different subcategory that could be created for the strains that do this because it was really good, really good. And I know it's an anomaly. I know it's not.
I don't even think it's too much of an anomaly. I think we're seeing so much more stable strains and things like that because people are using those strains to make hash. People are starting to learn that you can't turn a whole crop of Blue Dream into the most water hash because that strain has a thicker waxy coating, and I think the same goes with your strain as well, Jen. Some of those strains just have that thicker waxy coating on the outside with less oils on the inside, so naturally they're just going to have that less oily appearance.
I think that's also a lot to do with how it's grown.
I wouldn't not run that again. I would run that all fucking day if I could. It was really potent.
As I was mentioning when I first got on, there's certain greenhouses where I'll run Blue Dream and it's absolutely amazing and it stays stable exactly all the time.
Because that's the growing of the trichome and not the growing of the plant matter. If you're growing that trichome up to stretch that membrane out and fill those oils up inside, that's really what I call trichome farming.
Well, and then there's some nutrient lines that I found that create a thicker waxer coating. Just for an example, House and Garden. For some reason, I found that a lot of my clients that use that, I do not like the hash from it. It just creates a thicker waxy coating.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of this was that limonene that's in it, super lime punch, because this is the only one that I've ever had an issue with. But it has that super lime. And so it just, it makes sense to me that that has something to do with it, I don't know. Is your OG limey?
Well, you said it with wheat, and the sugar content, it plays a major role in the when and where of crystallization. The names we're using for things, because I'm more versed in solvents, when you say bad, you could say bad crystallization, I hear sugar wax. When you say good crystallization, I hear honeycomb. They're both crystallized, but one's water content isn't based on drying. It's based on atmospheric moisture. So you're going to have strains that are more like a honeycomb, that are bone dry, terpene rich, and terpenes that are nicely dry. Everything you say, when you say we need a category for these strains, I'm like, well, it's just a category for strains that produce sap, and solvent artists avoid those same strains because they don't want things that butter on them. They want things that make shatter, that make them look like the big man. So we're all pretty much, swaying the cannabis that's grown now through our extractions, and I just think more attention should be given to the unique strains that tend to give us problems because they tend, sap is hard to deal with. So nobody wants to make it, but they tend to be the most robustly flavored and sweet, which again rates back to that glucose sugar content that when mixed with the right terpene seems to always produce that buttering condition.
Yeah, but you guys, when you talk, it sounds like you call it a problem and an issue, and I guess that's where my question comes in, is how do you differentiate this versus fucked up hash. Like, this is perfectly awesome. Like, I love the consistency. It's so much easier to handle because before it turned to that, it turned rock solid, like hard to get a fucking dab out, like awful. And then it transitions and it's like, oh, amazing. But the reason I say different kind of category is because we are constantly going to have this debate with people that think, well, how do I know if it's water or if it's not? You get what I'm saying? Like, you've got shatter and you've got wax, right? You've got, in this case, you've got shitty hash or just the terpenes that are doing it. So, like, how do we differentiate that for people so that they don't think that we're out there promoting improperly dried hash? Like, there is definitely a difference. How do we differentiate those two, do you think?
How do you differentiate the growers that are just growing for extracts that don't flush any of their weed?
Yeah.
You know, they pump them up with these sugars, with these other, you know, other ingredients. I don't want to say names or nothing, but with other ingredients, and they don't flush. They grow purely for growing the plants the biggest, the fastest they can. They don't flush, and then they extract fresh, frozen, live resin, water hash, dabs, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But that's what they're doing. And I could name off multiple companies that do exactly just that, but I'm not going to throw names.
Don't call me out, bro.
I just don't understand why if you're growing for resin and you want the best tasting resin and the best tasting material possible, it's to flush those sugars and all that other shit that you don't really need. Let the plant eat it up, you know, and then you dry your plants properly rather than, you know, rushing it just to get your product out to the market.
Well, we still have no real understanding of how the organelles and the vacuoles and the plastids are produced inside the trichome head that produce the phenols and the terpenes that are the precursors to the all cannabinoids coming into existence. So if we understood that relationship better, which I'm sure we will in the upcoming 5+ years here.
It's happening.
Right? You know, once we understand that, when we can actually manipulate naturally through feeding or through specific ways of growing, which I suspect are just, you know, what right now would be considered the best ways of growing, which is like, you know, some good sun-grown organic.
Well, I mean, every way of growing has its purpose, but at the end of the day, when you're ingesting that, you don't want that stuff in you. You don't want those metals, those salts. You know, you want those things to be flushed out of your plant. That's why, you know, you don't ever let someone in your room to take pictures in your last week of flowering.
Long rip.
Long rip.
40-day flush.
I don't know what this flushing stuff's all about. Straight water the whole way through.
Saving money, and I don't have to add as many nutrients.
Yeah, that's it. We just use a little
I know mine were flushed because I personally grew them. So the flushing, like, I absolutely understand.
Yeah, well, we flush for 4+ weeks.
Right.
4 to 5 weeks. I just feed it water.
Like this has,
yeah.
Everybody says a lot of people.
There's still nutrients in the soil
of course.
that haven't broke down. Yeah. You know, like that's why we've done soil beds, and the first crop's okay. The second and the third are the best crops. It's because stuff is just starting to break down as it's organic matter. So even when you're saying you're like totally organic and all you use is food in your soil, yeah, well, it's not all breaking down and you're not getting all the right uptake.
I run out of food at day 30 or 40. So, I mean,
I use time
and my soil mix in to have more food, you know, to last me. But, yeah, I'm running out. So I'm flushing for like 30, 40 days right now.
What are you using, Nick?
Sensi size super soil right now is my new little game. And I'm loving it. So far, it just runs out of food really fast. And I got to go bigger pots, too, especially with these new ceramic metal halides that I'm using. My plants are eating faster underneath these lights.
Well, shoot me an email or something so I can get you out some soil to test.
Yeah?
I won't run out in 30 days.
Well, you know, I'm also dialing it in for the size of pot because this next round, you know, I went in a larger pot and it's not running out of food. I'm starting to feed a little bit of teas a little earlier, and you know.
Right. The teas are definitely, you know, with any soil, even if it's hot soil or, you know, teas are always a good additive to introduce. But you know, in those teas, you know, not everything's getting eaten up right away.
Great foliar spray for preventing powdery mildew, though. Makes an incredible barrier, that tea.
That's true. Changes the pH of your leaf.
Changes the pH of the leaf. Without the nasty baking soda white residuals that you get with the recipe I showed recently on my YouTube channel. But hey, it's all information. Do with it as you will. Do with it as you please.
We're truly blessed here in Colorado. I grow only OGs, which have a tendency to PM. I still have never seen any PM in my garden, knock on wood.
Oh, yeah. I have to keep such a good eye on mine. We are so prone up here.
I mean, I'm between 15 and 30% RH all the time. It's hard.
Yeah,
Like I said, I just buy stock and dehumidifier.
Your herb.
What's that?
How long does it take you to dry your herb, bro? You cut it off the plant.
I went away for the Emerald Cup for 8 days, and I was fucked. 8 days is too long in Colorado. It's so wrong, bro. It's so
That's the whole plant, though. Did you cut the whole plant down and hang it, or did you cut it down in pieces and hang it?
What's that?
Did you cut the plant down as a whole and hang it for those days?
I tried to get as many days as I could. Colorado, my house especially, it's just on top of a mountain, is so dry. You know, like, if I had to leave for 8 days again, I'd definitely put a humidifier in there. It's rough out here, man.
I think 4 maybe? 3 or 4? Oh, excuse me.
The whole plant's drying between 4 and 5 days out here.
No shit. One whole plant solidly hung, not cut up into little pieces? Damn.
Yeah, defanned.
Great.
It's the dry sift capital of the world, bro.
Great for making hash.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's it. I consider myself fairly versed in hash making, even though I've got more to learn every day, and that's why I love this. But as a grower, I'm novice. I'm a beginner grower. I grew up in a garden center. I grew up, in a nursery. In reality, I grew up with plants. But growing cannabis inside, I still have a lot to learn.
Hey, brother, we all are still. The class has just started. We're all in that school together, dude. Like, we all row in that same boat. We're all learning. We're all just soaking up as much knowledge as we can from the other person to our right and our left, bro.
That's what it's all about to me, man.
It's hard to tell a person how to grow. I can't change your style of growing. We all get to the end result, which are flowers. Now, sometimes some Colorado dries faster. 8 days is too long. Sometimes Washington, you could be drying for a month and you're still not done.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
3 weeks.
It's all about just using all your skill. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I was back in Cali, I would love to dry for 3 weeks. 20 days, beautiful.
I did one plant. We hung for 3 months and crushed it over screens, and it was beautiful how it went in just fresh headies over screens. And then, of course, Mark cleaned it, and this is some of the outcome right here. It's just stellar.
Nice.
Where is it?
He held it up on a card.
It's number 5, so it's a pheno I just wound up losing. It was hard to grow. It was nice killer dry sift, but after playing with it for over a year, it's done. It's gone.
It's narcotic. It's just super put you to fucking bed.
Right.
Yeah,
I need that. I can't find anything that puts me to bed. Nothing.
This is it. This particular one was.
That shit really makes you want to take a nap, I have to say.
I need my hands on some of that.
It's good for right before going to bed, but that's about it. Man, I can't wait to get back to Jamaica. Hopefully in the new year here soon, Jamaica gets their shit together and amends their laws. And, yeah.
What's the deal with their laws right now? What's going on?
Outside.
Yeah.
Well, Jamaica's like the rest of the world, you know. They signed all these different peace treaties and whatnot, so they're bound by they're a Commonwealth country. So what they're trying to do right now is create amendments which are legal and allow them to use cannabis medicinally and use, you know, within the parameters of whatever those insane laws, because hopefully eventually those insane laws are overturned once everything from cannabis goes out of, you know, from 1 down to 3 or 4 or 5 on the FDA scale or on the drug scale, because it's classified as a it's Schedule 1 right now, so that's insane. It has to go down.
I thought it was totally legalized last year.
What's that?
I thought it was totally legalized last year. That's why.
No, they decriminalized up to an ounce or two for just people, and really that was to placate the people because Dodson, this guy, had been arrested for a joint, and the cops smashed him over the head with a baton, and they killed him. So he was killed over a spliff, and he was just a local guy from Kingston, and people were super fucking pissed about it. Like, it was kind of like, you know, like really, I think that you could feel that something was about to happen. Like maybe the revolution would be a bad revolution for everyone involved, kind of thing. Like it was intense. People were pissed, kind of like the I Can't Breathe, Eric Garner and Michael Brown, but Jamaica style. And Jamaicans are fucking volatile, volatile people.
Yeah.
So the government came out with this. Okay, it's legal to have like an ounce or two or whatever. So that doesn't really stop shakedowns. It doesn't completely stop arrests. And it's a step in the right direction, but what they need to do is they need to pass these amendments. Then they need to create provisional or actual licenses that allow for people to, you know, like growers need to get licenses to grow. You know, that's a guarantee right off the bat. There's a licensing system that needs to occur that allows growers to, and I think that personally my opinion is that because, you know, having my own company there and being on a different level than the majority of farmers, what I think should happen is that the local people should always be able and allowed to use cannabis and trade cannabis amongst themselves. Now that's not to say that gives them an open right to grow 10,000 pounds and ship it to Florida, but it definitely means that they have the ability to do exactly what they're doing right now, which is grow herb and trade it and gain through trade with your herb.
Use it kind of currency.
Yeah, like it's being used already, but be protected. Be protected to do that now. On the other hand, there's larger companies like what my company will do, Cannabinoid Research and Development, John's company as well, and partnered up with UCAN, United Cannabis, which DNA and Aaron is of course a part of as well. That's going to be on a bigger level, and that will be more the company that is. Companies like that will be able to fit into standards that a lot of people just won't be able to. That'll be a very tough job and an expensive job to try and produce exotic sun-grown sativas and then process that resin into a standardized medicine that also, like we said, has no moisture, has no molds or mildews or anything that would be construed as to be, you know, against, you know, anti-healthy, like, you know, that would actually make you sick. So I think that Jamaica's got a big road ahead of them with the vast variety of players, from the big companies to the smaller companies to the not company, to the people that have just been using cannabis for the last, you know, 30, 40, 50 plus years because they use cannabis in Jamaica.
Serious, big time.
Crazy.
And boy, what a party when we can have our first cup or our first Legends or our first whatever in Jamaica.
I haven't been to Jamaica yet, so I'm excited.
Now that'll be a gig for the Selecta.
On a Jamaican cup. Always down, always down. I love JA.
Dude, I do too. I so love Jamaica.
My mom been telling me to go for years, so I gotta make it there at some time. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
You and me both, brother. Never been.
I need to.
Never been?
We're gonna probably see each other there.
I've gotten plane.
Why don't we all just plan it? Just put it
But
on
I've
our
never got
calendar.
on the plane.
We should all just leave Spanibus so it's not depressing and just go straight to Jamaica for a week just to like
Dude,
shave off the edge.
I'm probably gonna be in Jamaica and to go to Spanibus.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
I'll
Here's
be
hope-
here taking care of my garden this time. Gotta
Yeah.
love the lady.
That's the problem.
I'm bummed I'm gonna make cannabis.
It's a matter of where can we get a license to grow and on a large enough level. That's really what, why I haven't cracked all my seeds, because Canada doesn't seem to be the place just yet. My MMAR license, which although has me as a legal grower on a federal level right now, in a couple of days it could be construed as not legal anymore and that I have to shut it down, which would really suck. It would make moving to Jamaica that much easier. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I would come visit you in Jamaica.
Yes, we would have large gatherings in Jamaica, and we would definitely make a point on having an epic setup. I've traveled there for a long time, since 1995. That's when I got married in Jamaica. And the trips that we do now, the people that we're all linked up with, and the quality of just great, humble people that we've linked up with has just made Jamaica so much was. It's just, it's unbelievable. It's surreal, actually.
It's all about the vibe. It's an amazing place. Good people.
Yeah, I have my Rasta brother who a really amazing friend that was having rough times, and he's from Jamaica, and he ended up living with me for about 2 years, and it's just he taught me a lot about the culture and everything, and they're just amazing people. And he's been harassing me to go to Jamaica. I guess his dad owns a hotel or something, so I'll find out about that. We'll have him meet us there. He's actually a record producer in Germany currently. So, Born Free Records. I don't know how big he is. I don't keep up
Does he
too
produce
much.
reggae mostly, or just all sorts of
What?
stuff? Does he produce a lot of reggae?
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of reggae. Have you heard of Mamadi?
No.
Or have you heard of a Gentleman? He's really big, like in Germany. This is all Europe
I know.
stuff. We don't get it much.
Absolutely no, gentleman. Gentleman is
Okay,
big.
so
Reggae's big in Germany.
Mamadi was one of Gentleman's backup singers a while back.
Wow.
So Mamadi is actually Born Free's girlfriend, and she's incredible. So
I
was supposed to visit him while I was down there, but didn't get the opportunity to. He was actually in Florida while I was close enough to go see him in Germany. So I was like,
nice. I think one of my favorite new reggae artists, well, not that new, but one that I've been really enjoying lately has got to be Jesse Royal. For those of you that aren't Jesse Royal fans, peep out Jesse. I'm wearing his shirt today. In comes the small axe. This guy is definitely, I think it's no big surprise that he's up and coming. He will blow up pretty good, especially, I don't know if you saw this, Nika, on Jimmy Fallon when Chronix played on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
He teased Jesse Royal, modern day Judas, during his
He gave a little verse or whatever from Modern Day Judas and from what's her name's Reverence tune. I'm spacing her name, but the other woman on that rhythm, because he did a little rhythm section. He like hit 2 or 3.
It was pretty sweet, I have to say. I was like surprised that they gave him almost 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was pretty incredible in itself. He's
big for reggae music as a whole, man. It was huge for us. I mean,
dude, huge. I have footage of Chronix when he's 18 years old at like Red Bones and Jamnesia and a couple other venues in Kingston. And as I'm getting the footage, I felt, because I had just seen him that year at Rebel Salute, and I had met all the whole Over Evil crew, Gideon and Sela, who are the twin brothers of Joe. And Joe, of course, he passed away of an aneurysm, and it was Joe who started, well, they all started the Over Evil, which is Joe, and that's why Chronix always sings Jehovah Evil, and they all sing it. Infinite, Exile the Brave, Dexter Malawi, Hempress Sativa. This is their whole crew in Kingston that he came out of. And so I met them all on this trip, and really the vibe was that Chronix was about to blow up, and he didn't quite blow up for 2 years. I think, in my opinion, it was going on Jimmy Fallon and playing the free concert in Central Park that was huge for those guys.
Definitely, definitely.
Like, unbelievable.
And then, you know, just having Chronix, Kabaka Pyramid, and all these new, you know, reggae revolution, or what are they calling it?
The revivalists, the reggae revival.
Yeah, the reggae revival, sorry. That reggae revival movement, you know, has done wonders for Jamaica as a whole. You know, Jamaica needed real roots music again because it was, you know, 80% was turning over to the dance hall and the bashment culture in reality, and it brings a different vibe altogether. So this new
bringing it back for sure
is huge. We needed it.
I put Kabaka up there. Protege, Chronix, Jesse Royal, John 9. Those are all, like, in my opinion, some of my, like, 5 favorite new reggae artists.
Reggae revival, for sure.
Yeah, and it was amazing meeting those guys, because what I was doing when I met all of them was I was teaching them about YouTube monetization, how they could put their music up on YouTube, protect the rights of their music, and gain monetization through it. So we have, if you go on YouTube and you Google, like, geez, what would you Google? I guess On Air FM, and maybe, I don't know if it's like, I guess it's Jah Over Evil or Reggae Revival, and we have a video of like 12 of them, from Micaiah Shaman to Kazam Davis to Hempress Sativa to Sila and Dexter Malawi, like literally 12 of them on the top of our I guess it's not really our deck. It was an outside patio for the pool, and we took the whole thing over and had them perform acoustically with a guitar. And man, the amount of talent that those kids have is unbelievable.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
really.
guys familiar with Natural Roots?
What's that?
Natural Roots. They're a reggae band out of Salt Lake.
Oh, okay.
They're really good.
Check them out.
I'm
always down for
Jesse Royal right there.
What's that?
Free download, so I posted it in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's a great. That's his. That's in. I think that's his mixtape, which is the one that I'm wearing the shirt for. In Comes the Small Axe. How you know when someone's gonna blow up? In my opinion, if you're in Kingston and you're going around and you're checking shit out, and generally this is pretty common sense. When Sly and Robbie show up on your shit, like, oh, who's doing the rhythm? It's like, oh, that's Sly and Robbie are doing the drums and the. Oh, Sly and Robbie. Okay, so that's definitely probably going to be a killer rhythm. Perfect example is my friends, the Nomads. I'm not really a huge, giant fan of their style of music. However, recently they got a new manager, and their manager hooked them up with Chris Blackwell, and Chris Blackwell linked them up with Sly and Robbie. And so if you Google the Nomads, Nomadz, or Z, however you want to pronounce it, and the song is called Shotta, Shotta. This is a heavy rhythm, dude. Like, I can't believe it. It sounds super old school, fucking killer. And it's nothing like what the Nomads sound like. They're more like kind of, I don't know, they got a kind of, sometimes it's Freddie McGregor, sometimes it's like sort of lovey songs, and they're a different kind of band out of Kingston. Definitely worth checking.
I've been needing some new music. I've been kind of out of touch. Right hand on
Aaron said he'd sing you some music. Go ahead, Aaron.
Isn't that song the Hall & Oates Out of Touch?
That's what I was hearing in my head. I was definitely hearing something like that in my head.
That was
what I was going for.
Out of touch. Oh my!
It also reminded me of another bad '80s song, like da na da na na na. It's another Hall & Oates song.
I know which one you're talking about.
That shit, we're kids of the 80s. It's hard to, like, escape this shit.
Find that one, Rick. Find that download.
Which one? Out of touch?
Notes.
Touch and everything.
Something terrible, man. Just find some terrible 80s
You're
music.
describing my life right now. Find a song. Describe my life. Out of touch.
Is this 4 hours of Hash Church, by the way? Did we just do Hash Church for 4 hours? I'm definitely going to stop the transmission of Hash Church now and thank everyone for coming. We can keep this chat going inside, but wow, I can't believe we just did 4 hours. On that note, ending broadcast.